Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it.
Happy TGIF, everybody, and welcome to Undisputed Live from Los Angeles. I'm Jen Hale, in for Jenny Taft, who's on college football. Here, of course, with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning,
Yeah,
guys.
let's see you be doing that week 3. You be, Jerry just signed Zeke.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's a
I'm
pleasure
gonna
to
go.
have you.
Yeah, okay. You all nice and calm now, but we gonna see. You talking about you don't get worried until Monday.
I'm real good over here. It's serene, it's calm.
Okay.
Because we got this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming back, Jen.
Some people prematurely gloat.
What am I gloating about, Skip? I'll just congratulate Jen, like coming back. I mean, it's nice to have her back, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
you don't
you.
seem real sincere about it.
I do.
Yeah.
Nice to have you back.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shannon.
You're a
I missed
hater
you
too,
guys.
Skip Bayless.
All right, gentlemen, we have a packed show today. How long until Tom Brady gets replaced? Should the Giants start Daniel Jones week 1?
Yep.
But first, back to what Shannon was talking about, we are going to start with the Cowboys and Zeke watch. Jerry Jones appears to be getting more pessimistic by the day. Jerry's gone from being hopeful that Ezekiel Elliott and the Cowboys would reach a deal by week 1 to fully expecting the All-Pro running back to miss regular season games. After the Cowboys' preseason finale last night, Jerry had this to say.
I'm operating as though right now he's going to miss regular season games. My entire expectation for what we're putting together as a team right now would anticipate with him holding out and not having made any training camp that he's going to miss preseason, that he's going to miss games. He can and won't miss them all. And we'll have, to the extent, and we need Zeke. We're a better team with Zeke.
Handicap this one for us. Shannon, does this mean Zeke will indeed miss regular season games?
Yeah, Shannon.
No, yesterday, Jerry will get this done. Told you yesterday. You ain't want to believe me.
So that means it's over, what he just said?
Yep. Skip, I believe that Jerry Jones is resigned to the fact that Zeke's going to miss games because we can speculate all we want to, but Jerry knows what they offered, and he also knows what Zeke's agent and Zeke's camp has countered offered. So Jerry and Steven know that they haven't moved, Zeke's camp hasn't moved, and so we're still here.
According to reports. That's what has been just barely reported because there haven't been any real big leaks on either side.
Right.
Go ahead.
There has been very little talking on one side. There have been a lot of talking on the other side.
Yeah.
You hear Steven and Jerry just
I'll give you that.
Zeke's hold
I
up
will
in
give you
Cabo.
that. Yeah.
Maybe they don't have communication in the part of
maybe
Cabo
not.
that he's at.
Yeah.
But he's been relatively quiet, working out, getting his thing on. Skip Bayless looking good.
Yep.
I heard he looking real good too, Skip. So he ready to run. See,
Reportedly.
No, they don't reportedly. That's what I heard. Very reliable source. But look, Skip, Zeke Elliott will never have as much leverage as he has right now. If you're not willing to pay a 24-year-old running back that's led the league in rushing 2 of the 3 years that he's been in the league, you're damn sure not paying a 27-year-old running back. And Zeke understands that. Zeke knows that his value will never be greater than what it is right now, considering, as Jerry says, what they're building, what they put together. So Zeke is using that against him. Now, I said yesterday, Skip, I believe Zeke will miss the first month of the season. But here's the thing. I believe if the Cowboys, let's just say for the sake of argument, Skip, for this conversation, they're 3-1. As a matter of principle, I believe Zeke will miss the next 4 games, because if they win, they go 3-1. Jerry Jones is not going to increase his offer. So Zeke says, in order for me to get what I really want, I'm going to have to see how you guys are going to do against New Orleans and Philly and some of these tougher competitions.
Yep.
Because I think Jerry Jones is looking at like, we got the Giants. I mean, we're going to either get Eli, or we're going to get a rookie Daniel Jones, or we're going to go to Miami, and then we're going to get
At Washington first.
Washington.
Okay.
Oh, we're going to get Case Keenum. Wow. And then we go to Miami. Miami comes to us, and we either going to get Fitzpatrick or going to get Josh Rosen. So Jerry is playing like, we're going to be 3-0. Look at those quarterbacks. Our quarterback is better than those guys. Our team is better than those. So we're going to be 3-0.
You'll give my quarterback better than those? That's a breakthrough for us. That's movement. That's progress on this
Really,
show.
Skip?
Well, given that you think he's a bust.
Case Keenum.
You know, go ahead.
Really? Thank you. So, Skip, I just believe that if the Cowboys start the way you think and what Jerry thinks, this thing's going to linger on. Now, in order to get a credit this season, Zeke's going to have to play 8 games. Goes back to, I don't want to get too caught up in the minutia, the Joey Galloway situation, Skip, and that's what the arbitrators decided, that 8 games is credited for a season. So I believe that Zeke, if they get off the 3-1, Zeke's probably going to miss the next 3 or 4 games because he's like, okay, yeah, you won against Washington and Miami and the Giants, but let's see what you do against New Orleans and Philly and some of this other different competition. So this thing can linger on, absolutely.
So Shannon Sharpe just doubled down on yesterday. He just doubled my pain, says he, predicting that Zeke will miss not just the 4 games that he went all the way out to yesterday. He's going half a year, right?
You got some money?
Huh?
You got some money?
I wish I could give it to Zeke.
Okay, good. Because Zeke, Skip, I was told $1 won't get the deal done.
Okay.
$1 more than Todd Gurley. He wants more because he said, you know what, Jerry keeps saying they're not going to set the market, but they say, Jerry, we watch you set the market with Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, and Zach Martin.
Okay, I'm going to set this in concrete right now. Shannon Sharpe predicts Zeke will miss 8 games. Can I quote you on that?
Quote me.
Thank you. 8 games, says my partner, Shannon Sharpe. So, before I get to what I really want to say, I'm going to briefly give in to your sky is falling overreaction that I get day after day after day, thanks to Jerry Jones, who does talk day after day after day.
Exactly.
Can you believe Jerry Jones? He overextended like crazy to buy this team back in 1989. By the way, he made the first call from Cabo.
Yeah.
Would you believe that? And that's when they didn't have cell phones or landlines.
Yeah.
You had to go to the operator in the hotel to make the call.
Put you through.
Salomon Brothers in New York, which was brokering the deal for the Cowboys, had just gone on the market thanks to Bum Bright, who just said, I've had enough of Tom Landry. I want out. And Jerry bought the Cowboys out from under a lot of bigger bidders and overextended and had to mortgage to the hilt. And you think it was worth it today?
That $120 million is worth $5 billion?
How many 76-year-olds have the media at their knees every day saying, give us something, Jerry? And he says, I'll give you anything you want. I'll talk all day and all night if you'll quote me. We lead every show with what Jerry just said, right?
Yep.
He's the most famous owner in the history of pro sports. Is that? I don't know a more famous one, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to give in to sky is falling overreaction off the top of this show. I'm going to give you this what if scenario.
Okay.
Let's just do the what if. And if this is correct, you're going to be dead right about this because you actually might be under predicting how many games he'll miss. But here would be the scenario. What if Zeke is watching Undisputed from Cabo every day and he buys into the far-fetched, wrong-headed notion that you preach on the show, that every day you say that Zeke is far more valuable than Dak Prescott, right? Okay, so let's work with that premise.
Okay.
What if, with all of his heart and soul, Zeke has convinced himself that is the God's truth? I deserve at least as much as my quarterback is about to get paid. And that's going to be somewhere, let's just do a hypothetical, we'll split the difference here because we hear all these wild reports. Let's say he's going to get $35 million a year, Dak Prescott.
Yes.
Is that realistic? It's probably, it could be in the 30s, okay?
Yes.
Let's do 35. So what if Zeke has convinced himself, I want $35 million a year because I'm more valuable than he is, and he's going to get $35 million.
Yes.
Okay, let's do this scenario. Okay, Todd Gurley makes $14.4 million.
Yes.
Dak Prescott's going to make $35 million.
Right.
You can see it's more than twice as much as the running back.
Yes.
What if Zeke says, I'm going to blaze a new trail for running backs. I'm going to put them back on the map because I demand at least $30 million. Well, if that's going on, and it's possible that's going on, then you're actually not even close enough to be right because you know what's going to happen then?
What?
Stalemate's going to happen. What's going to happen is what we call protracted holdout, where we have a season-long impasse. We've got Le'Veon Bell all over again.
Well, here's the thing, Skip. Le'Veon did not care about an accredited season because he was always going to be a free agent.
Neither would Zeke. He might just throw accredited out the window because he wants quarterback. I'm doing the hypothetical here. No. Then your scenario would be thrown out the window. It'd be like chicken feed.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. But Zeke would still have 2 years left. See, Le'Veon had no years left because he had already acquired the number of years that needed.
I got that. But this is where you want to just shoot the moon.
No.
Yeah.
No, he just wants to be. If you say Todd Gurley makes 14.3, Zeke wants to.
Hey, don't do your thing. Okay. I'm doing what could be.
Oh,
this is the outrageous
Skip not 30
outside
million.
shot
Go
here.
15, 16.
Okay,
but not 30.
What if he is? Well, you're the one who keeps telling me he's far more. You say every day on this show he is far more valuable than the quarterback.
No, I said he's a better. Yeah, he's more valuable to the Cowboys. Yes. But,
okay.
But Skip.
So is it possible that's what's holding this up?
No, Skip. But they don't pay you based on value. Football is the only sport that pays you based on position.
I'm trying to help you make your case.
I don't need no help. I made my case.
Oh, okay. You're going to be
case.
dead wrong because I'm going to get to my case in just a second.
Well, go ahead.
But I'm trying to give you an out here.
No, I don't want
This
out.
could be going on right.
You got to get me out
behind closed doors.
I'm not going to get myself out. You got to get me out.
We're about to go on a big run here because here's the bottom line to this. We still have a long way to go. We have 9 more negotiating days before game 1.
Yeah.
That's, to Jerry Jones, that's an eternity of negotiation.
Okay.
Because he has lived his life negotiating deals.
Right.
That's what he does for a living. That's what he does best.
That's why Zeke's not talking to him one-on-one.
What's that?
That's why Zeke's not talking to him one-on-one.
Well, again, you've completely missed that boat. I've told you 15 times on this show. The way this deal would have gotten done for more than Todd Gurley was if Zeke had reported the first day and buddied up with Jerry. Jerry would have overpaid Zeke in that scenario. He's playing it exactly wrong. And there have been days when he has alienated Jerry to the point of just ticking him off. Mm-hmm. And we've seen Zeke's side get ticked off. So it's gotten a little animosity going back and forth between the camps, which is very dangerous to the process. Mm-hmm. It's just extending the process, not past game 1, but up to game 1, right, where Jerry's going to make you pay the price of having to wait through all of training camp and all the way up to the week before game 1 before this deal gets done. It will get done. And I'm going to quote our man Jay Glazer. He wrote yesterday in The Athletic, behind the scenes, Dallas has still contended all along that they believe Zeke will be there for week 1 against the Giants. I think he will, says Jay Glazer. Now, he tacks on at the very end of this, what he wrote in The Athletic, by saying, but you never know what turns negotiations may take day by day, and you don't. Mm-hmm. But in general, Jay is hearing from the inside, we're going to get this done. So here's what happens.
Oh, you're going to make him the highest paid?
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. If you're going to make him, what are we talking about?
It depends how much the highest paid.
No. No.
Okay, let me finish.
Okay.
I'm making a point here that is not going in your thick head because you're missing the point. But Jay Glazer is right, and you, as I told you yesterday, you have become the puppet on Jerry's strings. Every day on the show, you overreact to what he says because some days Jerry goes good cop, and then he goes bad cop, and then he goes great cop, and then he goes all-time bad cop. So yesterday he decided to go hardball cop, where he's saying, I'm prepared to play the season without him, basically, right? I'm going forward without Zeke. Well, we're getting into the dog days of the negotiations where he wants to scare the other side into crumbling and taking somewhere just barely above Todd Gurley instead of resetting the market with a deal that's way beyond Todd Gurley.
Anything above Todd Gurley is resetting the market. Because if you remember, Todd was not free when he got his deal. Mm-hmm. Le'Veon Bell was completely free. You didn't have to offer anything, and he got less. So what Jerry Jones is trying to do, he's trying to put Zeke somewhere in the middle, maybe even less than Le'Veon or in between Le'Veon and Todd Gurley. Well, Skip, this is going to be a moot point. If you're going to give Zeke $15.5, $16 million annually, and you're going to give him more to sign than what they gave Todd Gurley, well, that's a moot point. But Jerry and Steven has said abundantly, they're not going to reset that market. So if they reset...
I already told you what will happen. There are 3 categories in which you can top Todd Gurley. You can do the guaranteed money, you can do the upfront bonus money, or you can do the annual salary above 14.4. Right. So however they finesse it, however they sort of spin it to the media, they will allow Zeke to say, I got more than Todd did. But it might only be more in upfront bonus, which can be prorated.
Right.
It might be the annual. It might be they gave him 14.7. It might be 15. It might be, but then somehow the guaranteed money and the upfront won't be nearly as much.
Well, because for me, Skip, I look at the real money. All this other stuff, Skip, he got a 5-year extension for $200 million. Okay, how much of that is real money? How much did he get signing bonus? How much did he get the first year? How much he's going to make the next year? Real, actual money that the guy knows, I'm going to get this. Skip, not 4 years from now when he got $42 million coming and you and I both know he's never going to get that. How much real money? And I believe that's what Zeke is after. Not only is Zeke after, Skip, more annually than Todd Gurley, he wants to get more real money than Todd Gurley actually got.
Okay, but I'm going to tell you one more time. The Los Angeles Rams dramatically overpaid Todd Gurley, and today they are regretting how much they gave him.
That's not for Jerry Jones to worry about. Jerry Jones, look, Jerry.
Yes, it is. You got to keep it in mind.
Okay, Zeke is looking at when Jerry and Steven says, we're not going to reset the market, but you reset the market at left tackle. You reset the market at center. You reset the market at right guard. You reset the market at defensive end. Zeke says, if those guys are the best or top 2 or 3 at their position, so am I. But you were willing to reset the market for them, but not me. And this thing is a train here. Offensive line, quarterback, running backs. But I am the conductor. It is not going very far without 2-1 in that backfield. Now, you can talk about Tony Pollard all you want to, and Zach Martin is going out there, and he's a very good back.
Damn good.
Damn good back.
Thank you.
And Jerry Jones and Stevens like, they love Tony Pollard. Woo, oh, boy. He ain't Zeke.
Okay, so here's the point you're missing also. Tony Pollard is much better than you think he is, and I'm on record, and I'm dug in on that. He is a quality NFL back that you can win games with, especially behind what I consider the best run blocking line in football.
Right.
They might not be the best overall. Sometimes I don't think they pass protect quite as well as Phillies does. But in the end, when they road grader people, they can blow people off the ball running the football.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay? And that has benefited Ezekiel Elliott greatly, and that's why per game average over his first 3 years, he has led the National Football League. And yet, Tony Pollard is good enough, and I think he's quality enough kid. I don't think the lights will be too bright for him. Could you win a bunch of games with him? Yes, you could. Could you make the playoffs? Maybe you could make the playoffs with him. But are you much better with the best running back in football, as I call Ezekiel? Sure you are. Okay. And Jerry says that every quote that spills out of his mouth, he says it.
If you believe he's the best, and I believe Jerry believes he's the best, what's the holdup?
Nothing. You're just negotiating. You're just trying to make the best deal possible because obviously he does have other dominoes that need to fall right behind 2-1, and that's number 4, and that's Amari, and we keep going down the line. Byron Jones.
Now, it was relayed to me that they said, Shannon, why the hell would Zeke hold out to be the second or third highest paid running back? We're not just trying to take a little small step over. We're trying to pole vault Todd Gurley's number.
Okay. Well, that's what I just said. That's why I opened with the far-fetched, far-flung scenario.
No. Okay. You're trying to pole vault to quarterback. No. Okay. You're trying to pole vault over the moon.
Okay.
If you're talking about a running back, $30 million. No. I think more realistically, Zeke's probably looking at $15.5, $16 million, maybe even 17. I think 17 would be the number that that's the straight, $17 million for a running back?
All right. Just remember what Jerry has on his side, and I still say it's advantage Jerry in these negotiations. Last seen on a football field against Todd Gurley's team, Ezekiel Elliott behind that line went nowhere.
Yeah.
He went nowhere. And Jerry has brought that up several times during this negotiating period.
Skip.
And then what happened in Las Vegas during this offseason? Another incident happened, and I thought Zeke skated on that one because I was afraid that was going to be at least another 4 games, maybe 6 games.
Hold on. Jerry was willing to alienate a lot of other owners and the commissioner because he believed Zeke didn't do anything.
That's 2017.
Right.
Yeah.
You believe Zeke didn't do anything.
I do not.
So and a lot of people believe that commissioner railroaded Zeke, that gave him games that wasn't warranted.
Yep.
So we take that away. Zeke has missed no games because of injury. He's missed 2 games in his career because they had nothing else to prove. They had the division sold up, and he rested.
I'll give you that.
Skip.
All right.
Zeke says he wants his money. My thing is, Skip, if you're going to go, why go through this? Why make a situation, why create a situation when you don't need to? If you believe Zeke's the best running back, go ahead and give him 15.5, 16 million and be done with it.
It will get done. As Jerry said on August 4th, when one side needs this and the other side needs this, it just gets done.
Right.
Well, both sides need each other. Zeke needs to wear that jersey. He needs to be able to do this. He needs to run behind the best run blocking line in pro football. He needs to be a Dallas Cowboy.
Well, Jerry Jones
That's
needs
a lot to offer somebody.
Jerry Jones needs 2-1 on that football field if he wants Commissioner Goodell to hand him that trophy in Miami.
Okay.
That's what he does need.
They do play a fairly easy schedule. Just fairly. I know no schedule
That's
is that
why
easy.
Jerry is talking like he's talking.
Because the first three Giants at Washington, Miami, you could win those with Tony
Yeah,
Pollard. Because I think Tony Pollard's pretty
yeah.
good. Could you go to New Orleans and win? Well, I don't think they could win with Zeke at New Orleans because I think that's going to be a revenge blood game for Drew Brees and company. You know that, having lived there. But you know what happened on that fateful Thursday night late last season at Jerry World?
Right.
Drew Brees pretty much stunk it up and threw a late interception that lost the game. You don't think he's going to be spoiling to get even with the Dallas Cowboys?
He might have lost his
That won't
MVP
happen
chances
again.
that night, too.
Right?
That won't happen again.
Well,
there.
I'm just saying, it will not happen. They will come out and try to just pour it on that game. So I wouldn't love their chances with Zeke. And they obviously have to play Philly twice, and they have to play Minnesota.
They got
and
Green Bay in there somewhere, too, right?
Green Bay's in there. That's no problem.
Oh!
My quarterback always outplays
No,
that
yeah, but
quarterback.
y'all take the L's.
Huh?
Y'all take the L's.
Well, thanks to Mason Crossbar.
No, don't do
we
this,
did.
Skip. Don't do that. Don't try to
Cross-country
don't
field
try
goals.
don't try to
Let's not try. I
Don't
can
try
just
to
show
do
you the
this, man.
numbers.
No.
My quarterback lights it up against that
And
guy.
Skip, I'm tired of you trying to paint this picture that the last time we saw Zeke, he didn't go anywhere against the Rams.
He didn't.
Wade Phillips made it his business. We're not going to let Ezekiel Elliott, because we know the guy that's under the center that holds the ball on every snap, he can't beat us throwing it.
Boy, he almost did.
No, he almost didn't.
He did.
The game wasn't as close as the 8.
One-score game.
The game was, let's Skip,
Yeah.
man, you know the game wasn't as close as the 8 points would indicate.
My quarterback had an 81 QBR? That's
Yep.
extraordinary.
You got dominated. You got dominated, Skip.
Dominated?
You got dominated.
It's a one-score game, and it's 3rd and 10, and Jared Goff runs for 19 yards.
Think about
What?
Hold on. It's because you scored 22 points. Your defense. See,
How many
you
did Tom Brady score against that defense? Help me out.
Right. But
It was the best defense in pro football at the end of the year. It just peaked.
you're under the impression that your defense is going to be exactly what they were, if not better than last year. You're also under the assumption that because Amari Cooper is there full time, but we saw a very similar situation with Jacksonville. We assumed that they would be as good defensively, if not better, and the offense would take another step. Well, what happened when they didn't?
They didn't have Nick Foles, the magic man.
Okay, what happened with the defense? The defense stayed exactly intact. What happened?
Well, you know what happened. The guy you hate happened.
What'd I do?
Blake Bortles.
Oh!
Right?
Well, hold on. Okay, this is Blake Bortles. That's that. That's how close they are.
Really?
Yeah, that's how close they are right there.
Okay. Well, now I'm back to my initial point. If Zeke believes that, which is the biggest bunch of baloney I've ever heard, it's just like, I didn't think you ate baloney, but you spew a lot of it.
Skip, you know that football, the NFL, is the only professional sport that pays you based on position. Basketball player, a point guard can make just as much as a forward or a center. Baseball, an outfielder can make just as much as a pitcher or an infielder. It's only football.
Quite, but go ahead.
Yes, they can. I mean, Mike Trout makes what,
Yeah, okay.
40 million?
Okay.
Kershaw's making 35.
Yeah. No, you're
But
right.
Childs making.
But long term, the
Right.
pitchers are going to will out.
Right.
They're going to win that one.
But football, well, you play receiver, and receivers make within this, and you play offensive line, you make within this. That's the only thing. If they pay you, and that's what they're trying to do away with. In the next collective bargaining agreement, they're trying to get away with. We're not. Tags, it has nothing to do with it.
Yep.
Position has nothing to do with it. Pay me based on my talent and my value, and then we're going to move forward. But Zeke's the most valuable. They're not going anywhere. They set this team up to be a running team. They got those road graders, as you mentioned, those road graders up there. And if you want to go to Miami, which you're not going anyway, you better get Zeke, because he at least gives you a bright spot, give you something to look at, like, wow, we got a chance. Without Zeke, you got no chance.
Shannon Sharpe predicts that Ezekiel Elliott will miss 8 games of this real football season that is about to start. I predict he will miss 0 games. I stay with my prediction. Thank you very much.
I got a caveat. You give Zeke $16 million, Zeke will be there. But you said, Jared says he's not resetting the market. $16 million would reset the running back market.
I'm so glad to see nothing has changed between
Yep.
you two since I've been here.
Yeah.
If Shannon is right and he does miss 8 games, that's $226,000 a pop.
That little
That's
chump, that little
real
chump,
money
He'll give
as
it back.
well.
He'll give it back. Jerry gonna give that back because we're gonna put that in a contract.
He's going to blaze
All
new
right,
trails
up
to
next.
Cabo.
Did Bill Belichick think last night was a regular season game?
What?
We're going to talk about that when we come back. And don't forget, you can check us out every day on the Fox Sports channel on SiriusXM. Undisputed, back in just a moment.
No mercy.
Football season is coming up quick, and DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy football, is celebrating with huge Week 1 contests. It all starts when Chicago and Green Bay kick off the season with a Thursday night single-game showdown contest and $2.5 million in total prizes up for grabs. New users who sign up today on DraftKings using code UNDISPUTED will receive a free shot at the $1 million top prize. Nothing adds to the excitement of watching the game quite like having a shot at $1 million payday. Draft your single game showdown lineup and feel the sweat like never before. It's simple. Just draft 6 players from the season opener. Stay under the salary cap, see how your team stacks up against the competition. But you don't have to wait till week 1 to get in on the action. Right now, all users can get a deposit bonus up to $500. Download the DraftKings app now to get in on the action. For a limited time, both new and existing users can get a deposit bonus up to $500. And as an extra special Week 1 bonus, new users can put in our code UNDISPUTED to receive a free shot at $1 million with your first deposit. Don't forget, that's code UNDISPUTED for your free shot at $1 million. Only at DraftKings. Make it rain. Minimum $5 deposit required. Deposit bonus requires a 25 times playthrough. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
No mercy.
Bill Belichick and the Patriots may have identified their quarterback of the future. Rookie Jarrett Stidham went 18 for 28 for 225 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick last night. Plus, he racked up 50 more yards on the ground. Stidham got the start alongside several of the Patriots' first-teamers that included Julian Edelman, Demaryius Thomas, and Josh Gordon. 42-year-old Tom Brady, well, he was watching from the sidelines while Stidham played the entire game. That raised some eyebrows. Skip, what did it tell you?
Shannon Sharpe.
What? Are you gonna overreact? Oh, you gonna overreact, huh?
No, I'm just going to react objectively. In all the years I've been covering your sport, the National Football League, I have never, ever seen anything like this. It's happening again right before your very eyes. Bill Belichick has his new Jimmy G, his new next Brady. He has now fallen in football love with Jarrett Stidham. And it's very clear, especially after last night, that he is fast-tracking Jarrett Stidham to replace Tom Brady next season. If not this season, if in fact, I'm knocking on wood, heaven forbid, Tom Brady happened to go down in a game this year, because it's pretty clear Jarrett Stidham is now the backup quarterback, the 1A quarterback for Bill Belichick, and it looks like Brian Hoyer, who I've called the most valuable backup in the league because he's such a qualified backup. I think he's 21 and 26 as a starter, but he's had his moments in this league. It looks like he's going to be on the market maybe today because the cuts are coming by 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. So, as Jen just pointed out, Jarrett Stidham played the entire game last night. And what's more, Jarrett Stidham was able to start the 4th preseason game with an unheard of starting unit around him. He got to start the meaningless 4th preseason game with 3 starting receivers. Now, Belichick can sell it to everyone because obviously Edelman has been hurt. Demaryius is coming off his Achilles reattachment. And Josh Gordon has been suspended and just got reinstated.
Correct.
So you can sell that. But clearly, the goal last night was to make Jarrett Stidham look just as good as he could look because he was going to be able to play with first stringers, with starters.
Yeah.
And I'm going to remind you that the 4th preseason game, the last one, is notorious for coaches playing absolutely nobody. So you're playing.
You don't want to get anybody hurt, Skip.
You definitely don't. So remember, the vast majority of players who played last night will get cut today or at least by tomorrow. And a large number of those last night played their last football game of their lives because they will then be sent into forced retirement. Am I right?
Yes.
So Bill Belichick says, nah, watch what I do. I'm going to start my quarterback of the near future with 3 starting wide receivers. So I want you to think about this. Jarrett Stidham wound up playing 218 preseason snaps. That's a lot. To Tom Brady's 28 preseason snaps. A year ago, Brady played 69 snaps in the preseason, which was quite a few, but still, 69 last year, all the way down to 28, while Jarrett Stidham played in all 4 preseason games for a grand total of 218 snaps. And in those 4 games, he averaged attempting 23 passes a game. Well, that's kind of like a starting quarterback would during the real season, right? 23 attempts a game. So it is clear to me that Bill Belichick is desperate to have the opportunity to show the world, as he's now 67 years of age, that he can win a Super Bowl without Tom Brady. He's desperate to find his new Jimmy G, got him, Jarrett Stidham, and fast-track him to replace Tom Brady. So let me get this straight. The quarterback who has led the New England Patriots to 4 of the last 5 Super Bowls and who has won 3 of the last 5 Super Bowls has to put up with that? That quarterback was forced, because this is a team rule that I think only New England has, he was forced to dress full out last night. Tom Brady had to put his shoulder pads on, carry his helmet onto the field, and stand for all 4 quarters, because it's a team rule, and watch his potential replacement play the entire last preseason game. I feel sorry for Tom Brady having to put up with this, and I think he doesn't get nearly enough credit for putting up with Bill Belichick and rising above him to, again, make New England the favorite to get back to a 5th Super Bowl in 6 years. Thank you.
Skip, I will agree with you on this point, but we'd never seen. Demaryius Thomas is a Pro Bowl, All-Pro wide receiver that's played in 2 Super Bowls. Julian Edelman is a Super Bowl MVP that's played in 4 Super Bowls. Josh Gordon was an All-Pro, and we know what he represents. So to see those guys out there with Stidham, I believe Coach Belichick was trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I need to see what Jarrett Stidham can do with actual receivers that he's going to actually throw to in the game. Because a lot of those guys, Skip, they're second-tier guys. A lot of them are going to get released, and if they're only going to get an opportunity to play if one of these guys were to get injured. So I want to see what Stidham actually can do throwing to real guys early in the ball game. But I also believe that Coach Belichick did want to get these guys some work. You mentioned Edelman got hurt early in camp and hadn't been back. Demaryius Thomas was coming off that torn Achilles that he suffered in December. He was on the pup. He needed work. Josh Gordon was suspended, as you mentioned, and he needed work. So to get these guys work with Stidham, who could possibly play at some point in time during the season, Skip, look, for the better part of 2008, he got injured. So better part of 12 years, Tom Brady has not missed any time in the regular season. But he is 42, and for the unforeseen, God-forsaken reason he get nicked, Coach Belichick wants to know that I can have all the utmost confidence in in Stidham that he can get the job done. And we've gone through this, and you believe this as much as I do. Coach Belichick believes it's his system, Skip. He believed that he could put Jarrett Stidham in there and get the same results. That's why he was willing to do what he was willing to do with Jimmy G. He honestly believes, Skip, and nobody can tell me different, that Coach Belichick does not believe he could win a Super Bowl without 12. He believes it.
Agreed. Yep. And remember, it was reported by ESPN, he was ready to go forward with Jimmy G. We're going back 2 seasons ago, right?
Yes.
And at the last second, I don't know if Tommy went up to Daddy, but somehow Daddy got wind of this, as in Robert Kraft.
Yes.
And he said no. And I think it might be the first time in Belichick's history of running the Patriots where a football decision got overturned upstairs by the owner. And he said, Robert Kraft said, no.
Well, a situation like that, Skip, there are certain things that I'm sure Coach Belichick can do without having to bounce it off Mr. Kraft. A situation that big? You bouncing it off him.
Yeah.
There are certain things. Hey, don't bother me with that little nuance. You want to make a trade for us? I mean, they traded for 2 offensive linemen.
Okay, got it.
Mr. Kraft knew nothing.
I don't think he knew. Yep.
You're going to make a move like that, he's going to know about it.
Yep.
But Jared Skip, and you saw this early on because Stidham kept getting more and more reps. You saw less of Brian Hoyer. You saw more of Stidham. And I said either he's going to get released or he's going to be a trade candidate for someone.
You said that.
They love this kid. And Coach Belichick believes it's his system, and he said, Josh McDaniels, I need you to get that guy ready to go play. Mm-hmm. I need that. That's why he take the whole game. You say 218 snaps over 4 games, Skips. He's actually getting like regular game. You only play average about 65 snaps a game. Mm-hmm. Well, he's playing about almost 55 snaps a game.
He is?
In the preseason.
Correct.
So he's telling you, I'm getting this guy ready to play.
Fast track. Yep. I'm going to say it again. I watched a good bit of Jarrett Stidham at Auburn and some of him at Baylor. Mm-hmm. And he is a talented kid because he's athletic. He's obviously far more athletic than Tom Brady.
Yes.
He's been taking off like crazy and doing a lot of running and a lot of dangerous running. So I'm not sure he's going to last nearly as long as Tom has lasted. Right. But to me, in the biggest games at Auburn, and he had some big moments, he also can lack some poise in the biggest moments. So he has little to nothing to do with Tom Brady, even though he has played very well this preseason. We got one play, if we just show the interception he threw last night, he just held the ball too long and he got rocked and it went straight up in the air, and it was just one of those, you got to learn situations where just let it go, because Tom's not going to do that. Right. Tom's not even going to try that, and then it's just one of those pathetic jump ball interceptions. Right. Okay, in general, he has played pretty well. Yes, sometimes very well.
He has played well.
He has been impressive, but Belichick is like goo-goo-eyed over it. You know, like, come on.
But I think the thing is, Skip, is that you want to see, we've seen him play with some backup guys, some of the guys that's probably not going to be on the roster. Yep. Well, let me see what he can do with these guys. Because if Tom Brady does get nicked and he happens to miss a game or two, Coach Belichick needs to feel comfortable that he can plug this guy in and not miss a beat. But the question that I have, Skip Bayless, if, let's just say, and we hope this doesn't happen, Tom gets nicked, he misses a game, 2 or 3, Stidham plays well, you think they put Tom back in?
Depends that's a Robert Kraft decision to me. It would go to the top on that one. And the top would say, absolutely, you put him back in. They are the Super Bowl favorites as we speak. Do you think Jarrett Stidham's going to go to Kansas City and beat the Chiefs, Arrowhead and take them to the Super Bowl? No.
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, Tom Brady says, you know what? I'm tired of the way Coach Belichick treating me. I'm up out of here. He pulls an Andrew Luck and he retires. How far do you think the Patriots drop in the Super Bowl prediction? They're favorite now. Do you think they go outside the top 5 as favorite to win the Super Bowl?
Yes, I do. I think Tony Pollard can be better at his position than Jarrett Stidham can be at his position. It's just too hard to play it as a rookie or at any age, but especially as a rookie, as you're taking over for the greatest player of all time and your team is the Super Bowl favorite. You don't think you'd crumble under that pressure?
Well, that might be a situation we hope we don't see, because I think you lose your mind.
Yeah, I would lose my mind. And I think Robert Kraft is about to lose his mind, because you have predicted this will be Tom Brady's last year in New England. You could be right about that if Belichick gets his way, because clearly he is angling toward that right here, right now. He's blatantly showing you that's what we do. And by the way, think about the double standard of this. He's the one coach who requires all of his veteran starters to come out for preseason game number 4, the least meaningful game, and stand in full pads with helmets for the whole game, and he's the one who comes out for real games with cut-off sleeves and a hoodie. Right? How do you figure that out?
I think I can count the actual time, because I need to sit on the bench. I mean, just standing, I don't know how more of these coaches don't have back problems. or some of these players that just stand and watch the game for the entirety of the time. Skip, I was on the bench. I can see it on the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
What do I need to stand at the sideline and watch for?
Tom Brady stood the whole game.
And you saw him doing them yoga poses, trying to keep his back loose.
He was trying to show Julian how to, it's a form of pliability.
Yeah.
It's like core exercises, balance exercises. It's Karate Kid.
You got to do something to
He's
make that time
reinventing.
count.
Well, yeah, okay, you're right about that. And by the way, Demaryius Thomas looked really good last
did.
night. I was
He did.
happy for him, and I hope he can revive his career because we know when his career peaked. You remember that throw in that playoff game at home? Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember.
Here it is.
Yeah, whatever.
Look, who is that number 15? That's Demaryius Thomas. He's loose. Look at that throw. Oh, it's Tim Tebow. Do you remember that play,
Yeah, I
Shannon?
remember it, Skip.
Yeah, that was the highlight of Demaryius' life.
Whatever.
Well, am I right?
No.
He might have a highlight that approaches that with Tom Brady, just approaches that, right? But that goes down in history. That might be the greatest playoff pass ever thrown. Certainly the most shocking, right?
It was
fun to watch.
Overtime. It was the quickest. It was the quickest end to an overtime game.
And they had just changed the rules.
Yep.
Because I had to think for a second, it's really over?
Right.
That's it?
Well, no, Skip. You had to score a touchdown. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the one you had to score a
Yeah.
touchdown. A field goal would not have
No,
done it. Yeah.
No mercy.
All right, before we get too far off track, let me bring you back to the NFL today.
Uh-huh.
According to a report, the Dallas Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott remain far apart in their financial negotiations. However, Cowboys Vice President Stephen Jones reportedly spoke with Zeke recently. That means Zeke's holdout just might not be the biggest problem in Dallas. Is this another example of the organization bypassing agents in an attempt to deal with players directly? Former Cowboy Des Bryant confirmed on Twitter the Cowboys have been doing this for some time now. And this has reportedly now caught the attention of the NFL Players Association. And you already know this story. They do not view it favorably. Shannon, you've always been close with the ownership for the teams you played for. How do you feel about this?
Skip is wrong. There's a reason why. No matter how much money you have or you don't have any money, if you do something wrong, the legal system will find you representation. Because they know you're not as qualified to defend yourself as the guy that's prosecuting you. There's a reason why in the NFL you have an agent, because you're not equally as adept at negotiating as these guys. And Jerry, but Skip, this is Jerry's MO. Jerry does not think the rules apply to him. That's why he was able, instead of being with StubHub like the rest of the NFL, he says, I want SeatGeek. There's a reason why when all the NFL had Coca-Cola as its snack, he went to Pepsi. He was the very reason that Reebok had a 10-year deal instead of Nike, because everybody was wearing Reebok and Jerry did the deal with Nike. So the NFL says, I tell you what, everybody is going to do this, because once Jerry did the deal, you saw Jacksonville go to Nike and the Broncos went to Nike and this and that. When Jerry said, no, the NFL said, no, we done with this.
So Jerry was brilliant.
Yeah.
He was ahead of his time.
But what Jerry thinks, the rules don't apply to him. The NFLPA says that if a player has representation, you must deal with that player's representation. Now, Bobby Wagner, Richard Sherman are the two guys that I know, there might be others, Skip, that represents themselves. Well, if that's the case, well, we understand you're going to deal directly with the player because the player is the representative and he's also the player. We get that. But when a player has a representative, for you to try and circumvent that, because, Skip, Jerry plays the emotional string, and at the end of the day, Skip, that is your boss. How do you tell your boss? That's not Jason Garrett. Skip, that's not the running backs coach. That's not Will McClay. Skip, that is the boss of bosses. How do you tell him no? I mean, as he might ask me to do, Whit might ask me to do something, I was like, nah, I'm busy. But if Shanks says, Shannon, can I see you for 10 minutes after work? I'm going to tell Shanks no. Nah, bro, I'm busy.
You're just going to blow off Azzy and Whit like that?
See, no, I will say, hey, guys, I need to get home and let the dogs out. The dogs been out. I need to let them
So
out.
that's how it
I
works.
feed them. But if Shank says,
So
hey.
you rank your bosses. I see.
Yeah. Yeah, hey.
You know what? I don't.
Skip, let me tell you.
If Azzy and Whit want to talk, I'm wide open.
You talk to him about everything.
I will rearrange everything for those guys.
Let me tell you how you do this, Skip. Let me tell you how the importance of bosses. Look at office space. Who you think has the biggest office?
Well, I don't know. I haven't measured. I don't know.
I feel very comfortable in saying that Shanks' office is bigger than Witt's. Charlie Dixon's has.
Charlie Dixon's got a pretty big office.
Yeah, he does have a big, nice corner office.
Yeah.
But do you see, Shanks' office is on top of his office with a bigger corner.
Okay, that's fair.
But, Skip, this isn't right, and you know this isn't right. This is not how you do business. You go through the representative, and you don't play and because the players at a disadvantage. You said Jerry Jones has been doing hundreds of millions of dollars deals basically for 40, 50 years. And you take a guy that's not his expertise. Jerry Jones did not hire any of these guys because he thought they were going to be great financial guys or great negotiators. He hired them because he knew they were going to be damn good football players. And you're asking a guy to go out of his realm to do something against you that's in your wheelhouse. It's wrong, Jerry, and Jerry knows it. And the NFL needs to step in and take a couple of draft picks for him to send a message.
Really?
Yeah, send a message.
You hate those Cowboys?
I don't hate them, Skip. That's wrong. You know, Skip, if you're doing something, Skip, my grandfather tell you, my brother and I, he said, son, don't do wrong if right is an option.
Oh.
Don't do that.
He said that?
Yeah, Skip, that's an option.
That's absolutely brilliant. It's
But why-
simplicity, but brilliant.
Yeah, why did Jerry do that? And you're going to defend it. You're going to defend it. You're going to sit right across there and defend it, Skip Bayless. Tell me you're not going to defend this.
I did read the anecdote last night from Des Bryant about how when he was negotiating with Jerry, at some point Jerry asked him to come up and sit with him in the box or whatever. And, and he said, Jerry, if you came down on the field and tried to cover me, what would happen? And Jerry said, you'd kill me. And he said, well, then that's what would happen if I go up there. You'd kill me, right? Okay. So I get that. With almost any other owner, I would agree with you. I still say you're missing point on how Jerry is put together, what makes Jerry tick as a human being. At heart, he loves his players to a fault. At heart, he wants to rub elbows with superstar Dallas Cowboys. That's the deepest pull for him wanting to buy the Dallas Cowboys was so he can socialize with superstars. And he can get to the point where he considers his superstars like his sons.
He does.
Okay? And it's always to a fault because he's going to overprotect and sometimes overpay his superstars. So despite Des saying, no, I'm not going to come sit with you and let you sweet talk me. And again, you can say Jerry can be a silver-tongued devil or a used car salesman or a snake oil salesman. You can go all the way to snake oil if you want to. I get all that. But in the end, the player often with Jerry has the advantage because Jerry loves the player over the edge where he's willing, he just wants to make him happy. And listen, I know Jerry. I literally, I'm not even exaggerating this to 1 ounce. I spent hundreds of hours around Jerry for not 1 or 2, but 3 books I wrote. And you know Jerry likes to talk, so he's as accessible as any owner ever. So especially for my first book, he just said, come live with me, basically, which I pretty much did. I sat with him almost every day, all through that first Super Bowl week in 1992, going into 93 postseason. I spent every day with him when they came out here to play at the Rose Bowl Super Bowl in Pasadena, but they stayed in Santa Monica, and I just hung with Jerry every day. So I think I have a pretty good feel for what makes him tick. And what makes him tick is...
Did you write about anything after hours?
After hours?
That's off the record.
No, it actually wasn't.
No?
What I always loved about Jerry is everything's just on the record. He never says this is off the record. He just talks.
But Skip, you have representatives.
By the way, my book could have been called After Hours.
Exactly. Because you spent a lot of time after hours. But Skip, when you're going through, okay, you about to leave ESPN and you're going to make a decision, okay, you're a free agent, you let your agent handle that.
Okay, in the big picture in general, in a vacuum, absolutely you are correct. But Jerry's not in a vacuum. There's only one Jerry. I've never met anybody like him. And I still say Zeke and his guy Rocky Arsenault and whoever else you want to throw, Todd France into the equation, they picked the wrong strategy. The strategy was to send Zeke to camp for day 1 and to let him buddy up with Jerry and sit with Jerry and sweet talk Jerry and get Jerry more on their side because Jerry tends to overpay his superstars. What did Des get? He still got 5 years, $70 million with 45 guaranteed.
With nobody up.
Yeah.
Let the agent handle it.
No, he was buddying.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. Zeke's looking at it, like you said, you hate training camp because all you want is a 9-on-7 and a back goes down. Zeke could have been that back. Zeke says, I'm better served staying away because Zeke's like, I butted up to you, Jerry. Jerry, you know what I do. 2 or 3 years I've been leading the league in rushing. And I'm 24. You're not going to want to pay me at no 28, Skip. So this is the highest value. And for Jerry to somehow, Skip, when you know it's the rule and you deliberately go outside of it, at what point in time do you say, you know what, we got... Now, the NFL always tell the players if they fail a drug test, you're responsible for what's in your body. Okay, isn't Jerry responsible for his actions when you know that this is a rule and it shouldn't be broken and Jerry breaks it and the NFL has turned the blind eye for the longest? What did DeMarcus Lawrence tell Stephen Jones? Stephen started talking about the salary cap. He said, salary cap sounds like a you problem. That's not a me problem.
But what was the breakthrough in that deal? Stephen said, I finally got to, as you say in Arkansas, visit with DeMarcus. He got to sit with him. Now, Stephen is different from Jerry because Stephen is thoroughly, totally, almost hardcore objective. And Stephen tries to keep Jerry away from the players because Jerry tends to cave in.
Let me tell you what's happened. DeMarcus Lawrence said, if y'all don't give me this money, I'm not signing this deal until the season, and I'm going to wait as long as I can to have this shoulder surgery. Now, let me see how that work out. And they said, you think about having, okay, we give you $21 million, which is the highest price ever for a defensive end in NFL history. That's what got the deal done, Skip Bayless.
All right, I got to tell you, if Zeke had reported day one to camp, and as he's walking off a practice field after camp practice number 1, he'd put his arm around Jerry and said, man, I have missed you through this offseason. I love you, man. I love you like a father. Jerry would melt in his arm. He would just melt.
He knows how Zeke feels about it.
And if Zeke said, I want to retire a Dallas Cowboy and just lay it on thick, Jerry tends to say, you know what?
That was Zeke said.
I just got to give this up. I love you too.
Zeke said,
you are my son.
Zeke said.
Seriously.
Jerry.
This is the way Jerry operates.
Yeah, I know.
But if you push Jerry.
We ain't pushing him.
He got pushed back into a corner.
No, Skip, how we push it? We in Cabo.
Yeah.
We by the way.
That ticked him off even more.
We don't want to push
Looks
him.
like you're going on vacation while you're holding out.
We don't want him to see us. We might be out and going and driving in Texas, and we might pass each other. And like, there goes Zeke. He should be up there. We don't want that to happen, Skip. We don't even want to cross paths.
Jerry's got a quick temper, too.
I know.
He can go like that.
That's
and
why,
he's gone a couple times like that.
That's why we stayed
He
out.
made his little Zeke joke, and then they took it personally. Then he took it real personally back.
That's why we're not trying to cross paths. That's why we don't want, hey, the next time we see us, I need you to have a big old, like a 4 or 5 page contract in front of us. I get to sign old Ezekiel Elliott.
It's coming.
Yeah. But Skip, you know this wrong. Skip, you know this wrong.
In general, I agree it's wrong, but I'm making a strong, valid point. Jerry needs to be protected from Jerry. It's like he needs an owners association to say, you can't go talk to those players because you'll melt, you'll crumble.
No. But
seriously.
You know what? You like the guy, look, the law is what it is. We might not like the law. Okay, if you don't like it, if you want the owner to be able to talk directly to the player if he has representation, okay, change the rules. But you can't complain about it. It's like
that's all up to the agent/lawyer. If they want their client to buddy up with the owner, well, some might.
No.
It might be strategically wise to do that.
Yeah, we might take a phone call, but it's going to be, I just want to let you know, Jerry, you're on speaker. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Zeke, hey, Jerry, this is Zeke.
Jerry would just hang that
Yeah,
one
that's what we going to do. That's why that's
put
exactly
Jerry on speaker, and Jerry's put you off the phone.
No, because I already know, because see, if you're not on speaker, you're going to be saying things that I can't hear. I got to get close to Zeke. Zeke, what he saying? And Zeke's like, no, speaker. Everybody need to be in to hear what you're saying, Jerry. Make sure you ain't saying nothing sneaky. Skip, you know he's sneaky.
Would you just admit that you're scared to death they're going to get Zeke signed before game 1? That's all this is about.
Skip, I want them to get Zeke signed because the more people they sign, like Steven said, less of the pie there is. Old Dak. Old Dak.
Yep.
30, what'd you say Dak was? 32 and 16? And can't get not even a slice of the pie.
Yep.
They won't even let Dak smell the pie. Big old nice apple pie.
Did you see what Sean Lee said yesterday? He's never been on a Cowboy team this deep and this experienced with talent.
Well, consider this not because Zeke ain't there. If Zeke was there, I might agree with him. But since Zeke ain't there, Zeke ain't on the team.
Yeah.
Zeke is in Cabo.
Yeah. He also said this team has more fun playing football than any he's been on. This team is poised to go on a big Super Bowl run.
Is he taking a shot at other teams? Or is he saying the other teams didn't have fun?
Well,
or they didn't like each other?
How would he know?
I'm just asking you a simple question.
He's just talking about what he knows inside his.
That's what I'm saying. Or
building.
is he saying the other teams that he's played on, the players didn't have fun? They didn't like each other. Is that what he's
you
saying?
mean the other Cowboy teams?
Yes.
Yes.
So
That's what he's saying.
But you do know Sean Lee was on those teams, right?
He was on those teams.
Okay.
He was the captain of those teams.
Okay, so
and Des Bryant was on a couple of those teams, and he went completely south. And he made life miserable for that locker room.
Oh, stop it, Skip, man. I'm not going to let you do that. I'm not going to let you do that to Dez Bryant, that all the ills that transpired with the Cowboys was Dez Bryant's fault. It was not.
You said a lot of that.
No, I said, Skip, I've been abundantly clear. I'm on the record. I'm on CD. I'm on MP. I've said that Dez Bryant was not.
I know you're on IG.
Yeah, exactly. But I said Dez Bryant was not a technician. He was not fundamentally sound. He could not, and he did not, whether they allowed him or not, to run the route tree.
Yep.
But every ill that happened with the Cowboys is not Dez Bryant's fault.
He made more waves than
stop it.
catches. More
Stop
waves
it.
than catches.
Stop it.
Last 2 years.
What about Tony Romo throwing all them picks?
Well, that happened too.
What about Jerry Jones with all those misses he had? What they got to do with it? Okay. So I ain't going to let you
All
put
I care about is now.
Okay.
And now is poised for Super Bowl.
Jerry is wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know it.
All right. Fine.
Commissioner ought to take about 2 or 3 draft picks to send him a message. Let him know you can't do this.
Let Zeke sit down in Cabo. It gets boring down there. It gets
Why
lonely.
Why are you worried about what we do in Cabo? You don't know.
I don't know.
When you got, you bring the fun to you.
That much. Cabo's great for like
time in Cabo.
4 days, 5 days, maybe.
Zeke been down there like
Not
40
5
days.
weeks.
Zeke been down there like 40 days.
Yeah. Good.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. Jerry Jones says there's no deadline for Zeke to come back in terms of playing in that first game versus the Giants. Monday or Friday, he says it doesn't matter.
Nope.
So still a possibility we could see him
9
on
more
September 8th.
negotiations.
Make the money right, Jerry. We there. Make the money right.
Great stuff, guys. All right, still to come this morning, the legend of Daniel Jones.
Yep.
It just
It's
continues to grow. Do the Giants need to start him over Eli? We're going to chew on that one when Undisputed.
You all look at yourself in best interest.
No mercy.
Well, Daniel Jones has certainly been turning heads all preseason, including last night. Jones went 4 for 4 for 47 yards versus the Patriots, making it the second game the rookie has not thrown an incompletion. Overall, Jones was 29 for 34, 416 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks this preseason. Pat Shurmur, however, says Eli is still New York starter. Shannon, should the Giants start Daniel Jones in week 1?
No. And I believe it'll play out the very same way Eli got the job, Skip. You remember Kurt Warner started the season. Kurt Warner was very accomplished. He was a 2-time league MVP. He was a Super Bowl MVP. He had won a Super Bowl, had gone to another. Yes, he had gone to 2 Super Bowls at the Rams, and when he came in there. And he started the first 9 games, but they started to struggle a little while in there at the tail end. And then they went to Eli, and Eli didn't look back. I believe they'll do the exact same thing. Skip, this guy's still a rookie. And Eli is a very accomplished player. Is Eli close to the player that he once was? No. Can he have a moment here and there? Yes. But Skip, I believe they will start Eli and go to Daniel Jones. Skip, it's hard to start Daniel Jones and then go to Eli. Eli is 16 years in. He's a 2-time league MVP, Skip. I think you'll be asking a bit much, even for Eli. He might not seem like, man, Eli got no emotion. You see him standing on the sideline. It's like, Eli, is he alive? Is he breathing? Because he's just standing there emotionless.
Agreed.
But that man has a lot of pride, Skip. And I don't believe they will do that to him. I believe he starts the season, Eli starts the season, and somewhere around week 6, week 8, if they're struggling, then we'll see Daniel Jones, and that will be the end of the Eli era.
Before I say what I want to say, I want to congratulate this young man, Daniel Jones, on having simply the most stunningly sensational preseason I've ever seen any rookie quarterback have, and I mean ever, because there were little to no expectations, and he stepped up and rubbed all our noses in it from game number 1. Now, he didn't start a preseason game until last night.
Right.
So Eli started because they're trying to cling to Eli as the starting quarterback. But you want to talk about shockingly sensational? You want to talk about completing 85% of your passes? 85%, that's outrageously great.
And he threw the ball down the field a lot, too, Skip.
And guess what? In 4 preseason games, he threw 0 interceptions. That's the biggest stat, is that big old 0 at the end, because that's highly impressive.
That's very non-Eli-like.
You got that right. A guy who's led the league in interceptions 3 times, right? So, to me, and you're going to say I have a hidden agenda here, so I'm going to get my agenda right out in plain sight.
Okay.
In front of right under all these bright lights.
Go ahead, say it.
I don't care who starts game 1 versus my Cowboys, but if I'm the Giants, Daniel Jones should start against Jerry Jones at Jerry World next Sunday.
You want a rookie against your defense,
Week from Sunday. Yeah.
You want a rookie against your defense. That's what you want.
He earned the right to start. He shockingly, dramatically outplayed Eli Manning through the preseason. He had 4 times to fall on his face, and 4 times he rose and he shone. And I just saw a better quarterback right now with a bigger arm and more athletic ability than Eli has at his what is he, 37 years of age? He looks like he's 47 to me. He hit the quarterback wall. And the Giants fans know it, and the ones I know, they just dread the thought of Eli playing any games this year, especially game 1.
The fans know it, but does the Maras, does Dave Gettleman, do they know it?
Okay, so most people would say the old bromide was, back in my early days covering your sport, was you can't throw a rookie into the fire. It will stunt his growth. No, it speeds his growth. If you're that guy, and I'm not sold that he's that guy, but he played up to a level just dramatically exceeding expectations that showed me I don't think the fire would be too hot for him. I don't think the lights would be too bright for Daniel Jones.
If he had the Cowboys or the Eagles offensive line and he was playing like this, I would say, Skip, you're absolutely right. But because the Giants the Giants offensive line isn't very good, Skip, you can ruin him.
I don't see it because I watched Troy Aikman have a really hard time in his rookie year, and he split starts with Steve Walsh.
Right.
And I watched Peyton Manning start every game as a rookie, and it was not a pretty sight. Right. Did they kind of come out? Yeah, they were fine. They actually learned from it. They actually matured from the adversity. It helped them. It sped their growth.
Well, Skip, I like it. Peyton Manning played 4 years of college, and Troy stayed as long as he could until his eligibility was up. Daniel Jones came out early. Daniel Jones hadn't played a whole lot of football, Skip. And like you said, you never really know the psyche or the mindset of a guy. But for me, looking at the Giants' offensive line and where they are, I think it's better if Eli starts because you can always go to Daniel Jones. I don't know, Skip. You start Daniel Jones if you can go get Eli.
Well, if you start Daniel Jones, you just stay with him. He just has to play through the adversity and maybe the pain. You don't want him to get hurt. Is he going to get a little beat up?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit, but it's okay. It's what life is going to be like from this point on.
But they're going to have to get some offensive line to protect him, even if he doesn't start this year or only starts a certain number of games. Skip, they got to protect him because you see what the Texans are going through. Well, Andrew Luck retired because his offensive line got him beat because they didn't surround him. And you see what happened in Houston, Skip. They let a situation where Dwayne Brown was very outspoken of his owner.
Yep.
And O'Brien shipped him to Seattle.
Yep.
He cut his nose off to spite his face, and now what are they looking for? The guy that got sacked more than Dak Prescott, the only quarterback, was Deshaun Watson. Now they're offering Jadeveon Clowney and a first-round pick to anybody that'll give them a left tackle because it's beating the hell out of their quarterback, and they already had one quarterback in their own division retire because of bumps and bruises.
By the way, to your point, Deshaun Watson played all of 15 preseason snaps, which has got to be the lowest of any starting quarterback, and Joe Webb, the immortal Joe Webb, who used to be a receiver, led all of football in preseason snaps for a quarterback with 232, even beyond Jared Stidham's 218.
Right.
So they just said, we give up. We don't even want to put him behind our line.
Exactly.
We'll put Joe Webb out there.
Yeah, because Joe Webb has been on kickoff, kick return.
Yeah.
So he's been a running back, wide receiver.
Yeah.
He can take that kind of punishment. But we want to stay away from that. So, Skip, you mess around and get this guy beat up, and He looks like a good young player, Skip, and I'll admit we'll see how it is. I mean, I understand it's the preseason, so I don't want to say, oh, yeah, that's it. He the answer, Skip. He the answer. Because I think that's what David Gettleman, I think that's what Sherman is. That's the little smirks that they give it. Well, we know what we had. You should have asked the people that was outspoken or critics what they think about the kid now. Bro, you don't know preseason doesn't go into the win column, right? They don't count for anything. But that offensive line, Skip, you see Saquon? Saquon got to dance and, high step and jump over the moon just to get back to the line of scrimmage on some plays.
Well, at least he's got Saquon, right?
Yeah. Oh, Saquon gonna do that thing this year, too.
Golden Tate had a couple of big catches last night, but Golden Tate's going to be gone.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. I'm impressed. My only caveat reservation is that Daniel Jones, I don't think ever played against ones through the preseason. I think because last night no ones played.
Right.
And when he was the second quarterback in, I don't know that he ever went up against starters.
Right.
So was he going against twos and threes?
And do you want him, really? You want him going against the Dallas defense?
Well, you
with
say
the
it's
Wolf
terrible.
No.
Huh?
Skip, I did not say that. Why you do that?
Huh?
I did not say the Cowboys defense
I don't
is
have
terrible.
Robert Quinn. I don't have Randy Gregory. Maybe they won't have
Okay,
any
what about
pass
them
rush.
two? What about them two inside linebackers? What about D-Law?
They're just kids.
Oh, they're just kids now. Huh? They're just kids. They're just kids now. Jalen Smith running around knocking people out.
Yeah.
And the Wolf Hunter. You got Byron Jones.
Yeah. Well, Jalen Smith, he got paid, so maybe he'll sort of just take the year off.
Well, I don't really know him that well, but he doesn't strike me as a guy that's going to take the year off. He strikes me as a guy that's just trying to improve, and he wants that top mantle. He wants to be. When you talk about linebackers, Bobby Wagner and Luke Kuechly, you're like, hey, what about B. Wags? What about your boy, Vander Esch? It's like they're trying to make a name for themselves, Skip. They're hungry.
Well, good. We want Daniel Jones.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Golden Tate has a fun nickname for him. Calls him Daniel Dimes now.
Dimes.
That
I like
beautiful
that. That's a
back
good-
shoulder throw.
Good one.
But they'll walk it. But hey, but one name in the NFC East, Skip.
Really,
Or
Dak
walk into
Prescott?
him. Or walk into him.
It's good to have
Now
football
they got some
back. Real
competition.
football. All right. Skip's going to like this one. Is Zeke destined to miss some regular season games? Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson joins us up next with his prediction.
No mercy.
Hey guys, Jenny Taft here. September is National Life Insurance Awareness Month. Most people aren't aware of that. In fact, most people aren't aware they need life insurance at all. That's why 40% of Americans don't have it. But getting life insurance doesn't need to be difficult or expensive. Right now, prices are the lowest they've been in 20 years, and Policy Genius has made it easier than ever to get covered. Policy Genius is the easy way to shop for life insurance online. In minutes, you can compare quotes from top insurers to find your best price. Once you apply, the Policy Genius team will handle all the paperwork and red tape. If you need life insurance but you just haven't gotten around to it, National Life Insurance Awareness Month is as good a time as any to get started. Go to policygenius.com, get quotes, and apply in minutes. You can do the whole thing on your phone right now, but not when you're driving. Policy Genius, the easy way to compare and buy life insurance.
No mercy.
Jerry Jones appears to be getting more pessimistic by the day. Jerry's gone from being hopeful that Ezekiel Elliott and the Cowboys would reach a deal by week 1 to now fully expecting his all-pro running back to miss regular season games. After the Cowboys' preseason finale last night, Jerry had this to say.
I'm operating as though right now he's going to miss regular season games. My entire expectation for what we're putting together as a team right now would anticipate with him holding out and not having made any at training camp that he's going to miss preseason, that he's going to miss games. He can and won't miss them all. And we'll have, to the extent, and we need Zeke. We're a better team with Zeke.
It's a pleasure to welcome in FS1 NFL analyst Eric Dickerson. So, Eric, lay it on us. When do you think Zeke's going to appear for the Cowboys?
Well, I had a holdout or two. Yeah. Just a few holdouts. You never know. You really don't, because I know one thing. Zeke wants to be there. He wants to be there as a football player. Shannon, you know this as well as I do. You watch it in the news. You talk to the guys that's in training camp, and you want to be there. But to me, Zeke will never be more valuable than right now. I mean, he has to get it right now because he won't get another deal like this 3 or 4 years from now.
Nope.
I believe he'll miss some games. It's possible. I mean, you don't want to see it happen, but it could happen. I know one thing for sure. He will wear the Cowboy uniform again. I don't know when. You know, it could be in week 1. I think it comes down to if he comes back in week 1, you know, will he be ready to play? Because you have to get in football shape. You know, you can't. I don't care how much you work out. You can look good. I did the same thing. I missed 47 days. I came back with 2 days of practice. Played against the Seahawks, carried the ball 31 times. Kenny easily broke my hand. Yeah, I had broke my hand, but still get the big knot here. Broke my hand. Had a little hamstring injury, but I still had 150 and 3 touchdowns. So don't forget that part. But it takes a while. It took me a while to get into the season.
You get in football shape by playing football.
Yeah, we're playing football, so it's going to take him a while.
Wait a second. Do you think not being in football shape sets you up to get your hand broken or your hamstring pulled?
I think the hamstring for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt
the other
about
one's
that.
Just like
no, that's just a freak accident. Yeah. But I'll say what I said earlier. I do believe that he will be back soon. How soon, I don't know, but he will wear the Cowboy uniform.
Okay, what's your gut feeling right here, right now?
My gut feeling is that he'll be there for week 1.
Yep.
I think he'll be there.
There we go.
I do. I feel like he'll be there week 1.
Yeah.
That ain't my gut.
Yeah.
The only way he's there week 1, you got $16 million. He's way over what Todd Gurley got because that's the number. And Edie, you know, as athletes, you don't hold out to be the second or third highest paid player. You hold out to be number 1 because you believe. Zeke believes. Jerry believes, Skip Bayless believes that Zeke Elliott is the best running back in football. Jerry Jones has always paid the guys that he believes are the best at their position the most money in football. Tyron Smith got that. Travis Frederick got that. Zach Martin got that. D. Law got that. You go back to Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant was the highest paid because Jerry believed he was the best at his position. Zeke Elliott says, Jerry, you've told me on several occasions, in public and in private, that I'm the best. Skip Bayless preaches every day that I'm the best.
And Shannon Sharpe preaches every day that Zeke is far more valuable than Dak Prescott.
He is. He is because the way they set this team up is to run and then play action pass off the run. So Zeke's like, okay, well, what's the holdup? Well, why can't I get my money? I'm not asking for $20 million. Close. 16 and a half, 17 to do just fine. But I want more than Todd Gurley because I believe I'm better than Todd Gurley. And Todd Gurley got that deal a couple of years ago. And the cap keeps going up. So even though you might think Todd's deal is an outlier, compared to the cap, it's nothing. It's chicken feed. And Zeke says, I know 8 to 10% the cap goes up a year. I need my money.
So it's been about, 45 minutes since we last talked about this? Have you changed your prediction yet?
No.
Yeah?
Because I told Skip at the beginning, I believe if Zeke misses games, see, the way Jerry and Steven are dug in, they're looking at the games they play. Okay, they got the Giants, they got the Washington, and they got Miami.
Right.
Oh, we can go 3-0 in those games.
Then they got New Orleans.
Right. So Zeke is saying, hold on, if they go 3-0, Zeke has to miss another 3 games to say, y'all beat some chumps. Let me go see y'all beat Philly. Let me go see y'all beat New Orleans without me. And then we'll talk. Because 3-3 gets you 16, 17 million. 6-0, you come back in the cap with your tail between your legs.
So last week on this show, Shannon Sharpe swung completely around and said, he's going to be there for week 1. Zeke will be there for week 1. And then today, he went all the way out to he'll miss the first 8 games. That was the prediction.
See, Jerry and Skip says, Todd Gurley's deal, that's a bogus deal. The Rams wish they hadn't signed him to that deal. Jerry says, we don't set the market. Okay, Zeke says, I want to make more than Todd Gurley. Gurley has a market-setting deal. Well, if Zeke wants this, Jerry's willing to pay that. How do we get here? Something's going to have to give.
What's your prediction right here, right now?
Zeke ain't giving.
How many games?
I told you, if he missed the first 3, he got to miss the next 3 because he got to prove a point.
Yeah, I mean, I like to go to hypotheticals. Let's just say hypothetically the Cowboys do go, say, 4-1. You think he'll stay out? You think he'll stay out?
No, because the tougher part of the schedule will be over with. He's hoping. Look, they go.
No. They got the Rams. They got the Patriots. They still have.
I'm saying
they got the Bears.
He's not coming week 1. I know for sure.
Oh well, now you're all the way back to he's just going to miss 1 game.
No, I said
you said 8 games in stone to start this show. All right, Jen.
What I said is that if he misses the first month of the season, he automatically has to, especially, Skip, if the Cowboys go 3-1, because Jerry's banking on the schedule, saying we can win these first 3 without Zeke. That's why he's talking big and bad. Now, if that order was reversed, you got New Orleans, you got Philly, you got New England,
you got the Rams.
You got the Rams. If that was the first 5 games, Jerry wouldn't be talking as bold as he is, but he got Miami with Fitzpatrick. He has Washington with Case Keenum. He got Eli, who's not the Eli that was before, or possibly a rookie. That's why Jerry is standing on top of the table. We expect him to miss some regular season games. But if it was the other way around, you know he'll be talking big. That's why Zeke gonna hold out, gonna show y'all butt something.
Overreaction. Overreaction.
Okay.
That's Shannon Sharpe. I live on overreaction. This show should be renamed Overreaction. It's not Undisputed, it's Overreaction.
Okay.
I get it. Every time we do this topic, you just swing wildly over here, then you come back to here, then you go way back over here.
You do got a flip-flop, Shannon. You do got a flip-flop.
We got 10 cases.
You got a flip-flop, though.
That Zeke's not gonna play week 1.
It's called negotiation.
I said the same thing.
Jerry is a master negotiator. Jerry does like to hear himself talk, so he has no compunction about just blabbering about Zeke every day.
He does every day.
He just talks and talks out of one side of his mouth and out of the other because he plays good cop and he plays bad cop. Then he plays great cop. Oh, we'll get this done, no problem. And then he plays terrible, cruel cop over here like, I'm preparing as if he's not going to be here. Do you really believe that? Because all I believe is Jerry wants to win a Super Bowl with his life window closing as he approaches age 77 in October 13th, and he's talked about it. I don't have many more. I don't know why. It just seems like he could live a little longer than 77, but that's what he's talking about. And I believe he believes it in his heart of hearts. They are poised. They are on the verge to be really good this year.
Yeah.
Really good.
But...
So... do you think foolish pride would get in the way of that because he doesn't want to reset the market? Baloney.
Yeah, foolish pride has done a lot of things. You know about holdouts.
Yeah.
And when you start a holdout, you have to be in your mind and in your heart. You got to be willing to miss some games.
Yeah, I mean you do, but you know what? You can't go crazy with it. I mean you can't cave in too soon. You gotta let them know you're serious because and I think Zeke's let them know that he's really serious about this. But it comes to a point where like you say, you never count another man's money or what he's trying to do. I also look at it like this: here, you talk about he wants to be the highest paid player. Think about this. He lives in Texas. Texas, no state tax.
Right.
So really, in a sense,
good point.
he is really making more money than Todd Gurley anyway.
That's a great point.
Yeah, but I ain't talking about after tax.
But you know how players are. I want to make $1 more in here. Man, give me 50 cents more, man. Man, look, money is money. If he makes $100 more, $1,000 more, it comes down to what does Zeke mean to this football team? What does Jerry really think? And you're right. I think it's negotiation what he's doing. Just Jerry. He knows that Zeke is going to be in there. Sooner or later, he's going to come. He's not going to sit out the whole season. And I don't think it will be 8 games. I don't think it'll be 6 games. If he misses 1 game or 2 games, and I say this from a guy who's held out, it gets harder and harder each week, especially when your team wins. When I held out, we played the Broncos at home. They beat them. Finally, I started talking to the team. They played the Eagles. They won. Okay, all right. Now maybe I better think about coming in. So we played the Seahawks. I was on that team when we got to play the Seahawks. Yeah. We won. So, it gets tougher and tougher each week.
But that's what Jerry's counting on. Jerry's counting on win and win.
At Case Keenum.
Washington.
And Fitzmagic.
And then
coming
Miami,
back to
right.
us.
And think about this. Like, now, if I'm the New York Giants, I'm looking at what y'all saying. They watch this show. They think they're gonna beat us?
You're right.
Oh no, dog! It ain't gonna be like that. We gonna punish whoever's in the backfield. If Tony Pollard back there, we gonna be. Where's Zeke at? Zeke gonna get some of this too.
Jerry the one that started this. Jerry said when we in the playoffs, he the one that bypassed all these teams. It's not us. We just discussing what Jerry said. Jerry says we want a fresh Zeke when we get to the playoffs.
When we get there.
Remember, he's not talking to the Giants. He's talking to Zeke.
Yeah, but the Giants hear it.
Okay.
The Giants
they can hear it all they want.
He talking big. You hear that, Eli?
look, it is a division rival, and you can throw out all the
right, you see all the stats, all that out the window.
Yeah.
I got that. And it is not easy to beat Case Keenum. I told you, I like Case Keenum. It's not easy to win at Washington if Shannon Sharpe is playing quarterback for the Redskins.
Well, Case Keenum ain't much better than Shannon Sharpe. If he was playing quarterback. You saw him last
Case
year.
Keenum just heard that.
Yeah, you should. And you can't do nothing about it. Skip, that's why Jerry and Steven is talking big. You and I both know if Philly was in that first three, New England, New Orleans, if the Rams.
They're coming.
Yeah, but see, they're trying to give themselves some leeway. See, you get 6, you 6-1, 7-1, 6-1, 7-2.
Oh, yeah.
Now you got some games to play with. Yeah. But you 3-5, you 3-4. That's a whole different ball game, Skip Bayless.
And you got Tony Pollard, who's in his. I mean, I think the most he's ever carried this ball in one season 78 times. I mean,
he's fresh.
Come on, Skip. Let me tell you something. Think about playing the NFL. Real games. All of a sudden, you do like this. It's that fast? Wow. I mean, this is a real football game now.
In his college career covered twice, he had double-digit carries in a game.
So,
they want to get the ball 30 times.
And the Cowboys, the running football team, all of a sudden, they're not going to go down to New York. New York going to come in off, and they're going to be, we're going to throw it. No, that's what they run to set up everything.
That's not what they are, Skip Bayless.
That's not what they are.
You know your guy can't. Your guy don't do that.
They got to have Zeke. I mean, they need him.
You guys just keep talking. Yeah. My team watches this show too.
Yeah, they do.
And
Zeke watches. Yeah. Zeke like, yep. Shannon, you right.
Yeah, Zeke does watch. They watch.
At least it keeps things interesting.
Very.
Zeke Watch continues, and the countdown to September 8th is on. Gentlemen, great stuff all the way around. Still to come today is Bill Belichick preparing for life after Tom Brady.
Yep.
We'll discuss that one up next.
See, I had enough.
No mercy.
This one's fun to discuss. Bill Belichick and the Patriots just may have found their quarterback of the future. Rookie Jarrett Stidham went 18 for 28, 225 yards, 2 DDs, and 1 pick. He also racked up 50 yards on the ground last night. Stidham got the start alongside several of the Patriots' first-string weapons, including Julian Edelman, Demaryius Thomas, and Josh Gordon. As for 42-year-old Tom Brady, he watched from the sidelines while Stidham played the entire game. So he did.
Entire game?
Yeah, process this one for us. How soon do you think Stidham replaces Tom Brady?
Tom Brady who? Who is that? Who's Tom Brady?
Just like that.
Who is Tom Brady?
Zeke.
Man, first of all, all of us love Tom Brady, some more than others. but Tom Brady's
Some
gonna
way less than others.
I don't love him because I don't love no man like that. I like him a lot. I think he's a great quarterback.
He once called him an old-ass man.
No, I say he's too old to be, I ain't even going through that with you again. Whatever. I feel like this here. Tom Brady will retire when he's ready to retire. He has that special relationship with Robert Kraft. You saw they shipped Jimmy G out for a number 2, so you have to look over his shoulder. Like Tom is Tom. I mean, we know that Tom wants to play till he's 45 years old. He's 42. Last year, I got to say, he looked a little slow at times, but at the end when it counted, and that's when we talk when it counted, he's got 6 Super Bowl rings. Why would they even think about getting rid of Tom Brady right now? I mean, I just got to say it. I mean, he's still playing at a high level. He's Tom Brady. I mean, it's nothing else you can say about it. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, he's going to leave when he gets ready.
Well, I believe that Coach Belichick thinking, how can you get rid of Tom Brady? Coach Belichick say, easy, watch me.
Yep.
Can you see that guy?
That is a fact.
They're grooming this guy for something. And the thing is now, you just can't, before ED, you could just sit Steve Young on the bench and keep him there from 87 to 93. You could do that, Skip.
Yep.
You can't do that anymore. Because when you draft these guys, they got to play because you only have them for a short period of time. You basically got them for 3 years. If Brady plays what he says he wants to play, which is the 45, you're going to have to give up Stidham. He's going to be gone, just like Jimmy G. These guys force you to make a decision sooner rather than later. And Coach Belichick got an opportunity to look at him last night. Coach Belichick needed to see. He trotted out 3 starters, 3 proven guys at the skill position, at the wide receiver position. And he gave that kid an opportunity to throw to those guys because he says for some unforeseen reason, Tom does get nicked. He is 42. He's 42, Skip. and he doesn't get hit much, but all it takes is the one hit, land on him wrong, funny, tweaks the ankle or something like that, Skip, and Stidham is going to have to play. Well, Coach Belichick wanted to see, okay, let's see what he can do if he throws to Demarius, if he throws to Josh and Edelman.
You got it.
Can he link up? Can he get on the same page as those guys?
Yep.
And I think he showed him something. I don't care what anybody tells you. Coach Belichick believes it's his system. He believes he can plug anybody in there and get the exact same results because he believes he and his coaches are that good at what they do. And you always hear him say, we got to coach him up. We got to coach better. He believes he can do an outstanding job of coaching, put these guys in the right situation, and get the same results. I told you that, Skip, but you didn't want to believe me.
So you think this is his final year in New England?
Yep.
You could be right about this one. It will be a first, but you could be right. It's got potential. Collision course. So I'm sitting there watching this game wind down last night, and the reason I'm still watching is because Jarrett Stidham's still in the game. He's going to play the entire fourth meaningless preseason game against people who well might not be in the league starting today. They were playing their last ever organized football game. And I'm watching Tom Brady, and he's still standing on the sideline because they are required to come out in full pads, game pants, helmet.
For what?
For what?
Okay, that's what all the other players on the other teams who aren't required to do that are asking. But Brady is being a team guy. He's showing, I'll die for your cause, coach. I'll stand here. He didn't even, you talked about earlier in the show, you would at least go sit on the bench.
Did you stand for the game?
Are you kidding me? Absolutely not. I sit on my helmet most of the time. No.
Because, as you know, especially at age 42, it's hard to just stand for 3 hours straight. That's a long time.
That's why we're stretching. That's
that old man I'm talking about.
Okay? And he's standing there, and he has to be thinking in the back of his mind, I'm obviously watching the kid who's being fast-tracked to replace me sooner than later.
Yes.
And I'm the guy who just led this team to 4 of the last 5 Super Bowls, to 8 straight AFC Championship games. 8 straight. Yeah. That's extraordinary. And I won 3 of those Super Bowls, and I'm standing here in my shoulder pads, and it's getting late, and it's sticky hot out here, and this guy is doing this to me, and his coaching staff gets to come out in T-shirts because he's the one who cuts the sleeves off his hoodies when he goes out for a real game. So is that a double standard?
Yeah.
Is that, okay?
That's double standard.
I can't believe Coach Belichick. Normally what they would do, Skip, if you know you're not playing, Coach would say, come out and warm up. You warm up, go through everything, pat and go. You do stuff like you normally do if you play.
Just go.
Then you go in the locker room, you take your shoulder pads off, you put your jersey back on, and you come out there with tennis shoes.
What the Giants did. Eli was wearing his game jersey, but that's all he was doing.
Well,
that's what you normally would do.
Let me ask you guys something. Do you think that Bill Belichick would have won, say, 3 or 4 Super Bowls without Tom Brady?
No.
What you think?
He believes he would have, but no.
I don't. I think he'd won at least 1, 2. Really, because I think.
Who's the quarterback?
Man, whoever they, like you said,
Anybody?
the system.
That's ridiculous.
That's the system.
That's just ridiculous.
No, they would not have won. They would not have won 6 Super Bowls. They would not have won 8 NFC championships. No way. But I do believe with Bill Belichick, they would have won at least 2 Super Bowls with him. That's what they haven't played.
Wait a second. His defense gave up 40 points to Nick Foles.
I just say 1 time.
Points.
That's 1 game. That's 1 time. Think about all those others. Think about how he did my Rams. Think about how he did them. They held them 3 points. The team that scored 31 points a game.
In 40 playoff games, Coach Belichick's defense has given up, 40 points, 30 points 5 times? Skip. In 40 games?
Tom Brady has won 6 Super Bowls with 6 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter. That's impossibly great.
That lets you know your defense is keeping the game in close.
Right. Oh, stop it. Hey, did you see the party he threw on the Chargers you thought were going to go into Foxborough and win?
Yes.
He was extraordinary. Did you see him convert 3 straight 3rd and 10s in Kansas City in the AFC Championship game? And you said, looking a little slow last year.
Did you see the job the defense did on Phillip Rivers and that high-flying offense? Did you see the job that the defense did against the Rams?
Did you see Tom Brady beat Patrick Mahomes twice last year?
No, he beat
Aaron Rodgers and win it.
That defense.
Defense is terrible.
That defense horrible. I mean, come on.
It was above average.
No, come on, Skip. Come on now, Skip. Come on. Come on, you can't say that with a straight face.
Come on. He's really good at what he
great.
does. This is the greatest player ever. It's not even close anymore.
Greatest.
6 game-winning drives. Who could do that? You want to talk about all-time clutch? You want to talk about greatest leader?
Yeah, clutch, yes, most definitely. All-time clutch. I mean, I always put him and Joe Montana right there together.
He's 42 years of age, and he's just going right along with the rules. I'll stand here for 3 hours in my shoulder pads waiting for that guy to show you he can replace me. Really?
But Skip,
and you won't say a word to the media? Do you know what Aaron Rodgers would have done after that game to Bill Belichick if he had been the Patriots quarterback?
He'd have been different. He'd have been different.
Yeah,
he'd have been different.
Different.
Yeah.
Oh, it would have gotten real ugly in the
it
post
would've
game.
been different. Coach Belichick don't play that.
Okay. Look, do I begrudge Coach Belichick wanting at age 67 to at least have one opportunity to show everybody to do what you guys say, win one championship without Tom Brady? I get that.
Coach said, I'm going to have me a couple opportunities.
All right, but he has a boss. He has an employer named Robert Kraft.
Right.
And Robert Kraft has the best interest of the football team in mind because that's what he owns the football team. And he's saying, I want Tom Brady for 3 more years. That's what he's saying.
Well, he says I could have Tom for 2 more years or maybe 1-2 more years, or I can have Coach Belichick for 5 to 7 more years. He's choosing Coach Belichick.
No, he's choosing Tom Brady every day and every night.
I believe Coach Belichick going to win this one. He lost the first one. He about to win the
You
next
think
one.
so?
He going to win the rematch.
Well, he not only lost the first one, but then out of spite, he didn't just ship him out. He gave him away to San Francisco.
Jimmy G.
He calls up Kyle
John-
Shanahan and John Lynch and just says, hey, would you give me a 2 for Jimmy G? They're like, how fast can we send it to you, right? A 2? That's it?
I'll say the same thing. Tom Brady will retire when he's ready to retire. I mean, because I'm telling you,
But to Shannon's point, he may be right.
I mean,
He may be
I think Tom
retiring
will say,
as,
hey, you know what?
Something
Yeah,
else.
he might retire something else.
Yeah.
Joe Montana retired when he wanted to,
Well,
when he
yeah.
was as a chief.
Yeah, well, I mean, you think they'll get rid of him?
Yeah, Coach Belichick is gearing this thing up.
Ooh.
I disagree. I mean, even if I still say, he's a little too old to be doing this. But I mean, I got to give him credit. He's a quarterback, so he can be old and do this. Here.
Yeah.
He's a quarterback. You're not gonna play at no other position to do that. Maybe a kicker, but I still say he will stay there until he says, you know what, I'm ready. I'm ready to retire. I don't think Belichick can run him out. I mean, Robert Kraft's not going to allow that. Robert Kraft's not going to allow that.
Maybe Belichick will finish his career elsewhere. I don't know.
That's what you hoping.
Yeah.
You just want to see Tom win one without him.
Yeah.
See, so you can point that famous Bayless point.
Or get there and lose and say, see, you need Tom.
Yeah.
Maybe Bill could come coach my team for
No. Oh, now you want to coach your team, huh?
Now, I would like to watch him versus Jerry Jones. That would be some
Skip, baby.
interesting
You know good one.
dynamic.
No,
That
you're
last
right.
one.
No, forget about it.
If he got tired of that guy is worse than Jimmy.
All right, Edie, thanks so much for
Hey,
being
thank
here.
you.
We really appreciate it. Still to come this morning, what is the real reason that Big Ben is no longer doing his weekly radio show in Pittsburgh this season? Skip and Shannon have a few potential reasons. Up next.
No mercy.
Reports say Ben Roethlisberger will no longer be doing his weekly radio show this season for a local Pittsburgh station. Big Ben often made national headlines from what he said during that show, including, of course, that criticism of Antonio Brown that eventually led to the star receiver's departure. No formal announcement has been made yet, but the station did announce they will have the James Conner show this season. So, Shannon, what does this tell you?
Skip, I think he's trying to win some points with his teammates. Skip, there's an old saying that says people will change for two main reasons. Their minds have been opened or their hearts have been broken. I don't believe Ben is heartbroken that AB and Le'Veon is no longer there. But maybe his mind has been opened that I can't say some of the things that I say publicly. I can't be so blatantly and outwardly critical of my teammates. I guess he thinks this is a part of the leadership that he needs to expand upon and show growth.
Yep.
But Skip, just because you don't have a radio show doesn't mean you can't say dumb things publicly.
True.
And he started what he said about AB after the game in Denver, in James Washington, because that was really kind of what started. That started earlier in the season, Skip. You remember what? Maybe it was when Antonio, I think it was the second game of the season, when he was throwing the water cooler all on the field because Ben went throwing him the ball in Baltimore, and then he came back next week and he had a big game. Threw him like 20 balls, he caught like 16 or 17. But for me, this was more of a ploy, Skip. I mean, it's not like it's taken away from film study. It's not like Ben has to do something. Skip, we see Tom Brady does a radio show.
He does.
It's a call-in. You spend 10, 15 minutes. They don't ask you any questions, hard questions, because if they ask you hard questions, guess what? They're not going to be working for that radio station because people tune in to hear what the player is going to have to say. WWEI, I mean, didn't they get rid of the guy that asked Tom Brady, he said that Tom Brady's daughter was a brat or something like that?
Yep.
He's no longer there. So the questions are really, really, really nothing. But maybe Ben thinks this is a part of growth that he needs to show leadership and to show that, I get it. But Skip, I mean, just because you don't have a radio show doesn't mean you can't say dumb things.
Nope.
So hopefully he's learned his lesson from this and he can grow and it'll be a plus for him.
Will you acknowledge some growth in Ben Roethlisberger at age 37?
I'll see once the season starts.
Okay, that's fair.
To hear him talk.
All right. To me, I see some growth. I at least see a 37-year-old quarterback who's trying to do the righter thing. This is a little big deal, but still a pretty significant deal. Another small positive step toward trying to become a better leader. Do I think you can just snap your fingers and say, I'm going to be the leader? No, you can't. You're pretty much born with whatever you're made of. But I think in small ways, you can get a little better at being the face of the franchise and not the leader, but a leader in the locker room. And I think, what was your expression about mind open, heart broken?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even the mind
was his heart broken? No, but it was hurt a little bit because he took his fair share of
rightfully so.
criticism.
And rightfully
he
so.
did, rightfully so. And he said to Michelle Tafoya last Sunday night on NBC, I regret what I said publicly. So to say, I'm not going to do the radio show, at least it's saying I'm going to try to save myself from myself because you get on there, you kick back with the phone up, whatever, if that's how he does it.
It's call in.
Yeah, it's just, you just call in, and he's not at the studio, obviously, and you start shooting from the lip. And if you're in a bad mood or you're over-emotional from what just happened the day before, you're going to say, Antonio just ran the wrong route. He broke it off, whatever, Or James Washington's just a kid. He hadn't figured out how to do this or that. I still say that he believes James Washington is poised to have a breakout year 2 for the Steelers. And that Juju already showed you last year, I think he can fill the shoes in a different way that Antonio left.
Okay.
Is he better than it? No, he's not. But is he pretty good? I think he's real good. And I think Vance McDonald he's pretty good, right?
I do.
And
I agree.
that would be high praise coming from you.
I do.
And then you've got Moncrief, and you got little Ryan Switzer, and you got Eli Rogers, and then you got 3 running backs who James Conner and Jalen Samuels and Benny Snell. They're pretty good. Yeah. That's a pretty good trio to have. So you got weapons, and you've acknowledged the offensive line. Is it top?
Good. Oh yeah, they
3?
They got it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you look at them. You look at the Cowboys, the Colts, the Eagles, Steelers. They're top 5 offensive line.
Okay. And I still say Devin Bush was the steal of the first round of the draft, and he will become the leader and driving force of a defense that did tie for the lead in sacks last year. I don't know. I think they're going to be pretty good. I think they're going to be a little better than Cleveland in that division. Okay. And I think they're going to be a little bit of a surprise team because I think a lot of people say, no AB, no Le'Veon. You're just not going to be what you used to be. You've lost too much star power.
I still think they can move the ball because they still have been. And no matter what you think of him, he's a great leader. He's a poor leader. He's an okay leader. He is still a great football player. He still can make plays. The question I've always had, and I've had it over the last 5 or 6 years, the defense. Can their defense? That's what lets them down, Skip. You see, they played Kansas City. They played New England. And even though they beat New England last year, it's their inability to get off the field, create turnovers when they absolutely need to. So that's going to be a telltale. But I think this offense wants to prove, not just Ben, but I think Juju wants to prove, okay, I can replace Le'Veon.
I believe
AB.
He does too.
I believe James Conner's like, I got 1,000 yards last year.
I think he was showing you that last year.
And the offensive line is like, we're more than those 2 players.
Yep.
So I agree with you. I believe this offense will be good. And they're going to go out of their way to make sure. Because they want to send a message to the guys that are no longer in that locker room, as well as win games. Because at the end of the day, you send a message. But you want to win games. And they want to show that we can win games, get to the playoffs without 2 of the better players at their position in the NFL.
Okay. And I also think Mike Tomlin, I'm not going to say he's on a hot seat because they love him and they're going to
they just gave him another year extension. They're tied to Ben.
But still, does he need to have a bounce-back year
Yeah.
as the leader of that team as the head coach? Yeah, he does.
Well, I think he got guys now. I mean, AB was on his own thing, doing
Yep.
his own thing. And Coach Tomlin let that get out of hand.
He did.
I don't really think Le'Veon was like he wanted to get paid. I don't really think, like I said, without being there, AB, you just know. You can just look at me late for meetings and games. I got to do what's best for me. Le'Veon wanted his money. I don't really think Le'Veon would have been a problem. They'd given him his money. I believe he'd have been a model citizen. But that didn't happen. He's at the Jets now. Hopefully he's happy. Hopefully everyone is happy, Skip, with their situation. Ben is the unquestioned leader in that locker room. Le'Veon got his money. He's in New York. AB got his money. He's in Oakland. Shouldn't everybody be happy? Shouldn't this be like a happy, the end?
I think Ben's really happy.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, that's what he said. For some reason, he got a little extra pep in his step, and he don't know why. You don't know why he got extra pep in his step at 37.
See, that's where you got to edit yourself. You don't need to take those little
See, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So was that on the radio, or did he do that?
He said that to reporters.
Yeah, exactly. That's my thing. You don't really need to be on the radio to say dumb things.
Okay, so I'm going to say one thing that you may say is dumb, but I'm on record with this. Ben Roethlisberger is my dark horse pick to win the MVP. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes has the world at his fingertips. He's got Andy Reid trying to do everything in Andy Reid's power to make him another MVP, right? Mm-hmm. So he should be the odds-on favorite, but I think Ben has enough weapons and enough motivation to say, watch this.
But it's hard, Skip. It's hard for them preseason, those early picks for the MVPs, and Heisman, whatever else, Skip, it's hard to win that because that's a lot of pressure.
It is.
That's a lot of pressure on Mahomes. I mean, the second-year guy goes 50 and 5,000, and to come back and follow that up. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know if he'll ever do 50 and 5,000, but he's going to be in the 40s a lot as far as touchdown passes, Skip.
It's going to be hard to beat him
Yes.
for that award. Now, how far his team will go is a whole nother.
Well,
we'll
if
see.
they gotten better defensively, with Honey Badger, I believe they've upgraded the safety position. And Frank Clark, I believe he's a slight.
Somebody across from me is angling toward picking Kansas City to win the AFC this year.
I might.
Yep, I can just hear it in your voice.
Well, we already know who you're going to pick.
Okay. Yeah. Chalk? Yeah. Well, you always pick against the chalk.
Because, I mean, look. But I tell you what, I know who's going to win the NFC East. They're very comfortable.
So do I. 2 of the last 3, I know who won.
No, y'all not coming out the conference. Y'all not coming out the division or the conference. So you can just shut that down right now.
All right, James Conner's radio show starts September 9th as he unofficially replaces Ben Roethlisberger.
James Conner or Big Ben?
Still to come, did Trevor Lawrence hurt his Heisman hopes last night? It's good to talk college football again.
Yep.
We'll discuss when we come back.
No mercy.
I'm Jenny Taft. Thank you for listening to the Undisputed podcast. But before the show moves along, here's a quick word from our friends over at the Fantasy Footballers podcast. The NFL season is back, and that means one thing. It's fantasy football time. The Fantasy Footballers podcast is the most downloaded fantasy football podcast for a reason. It has the most accurate rankings as measured by fantasy pros, so you have a leg up on your competition. Want to dominate the waiver wire in your league? Be the first to find those hidden sleepers or grab those breakout stars before everyone else? Then you should listen to the Fantasy Footballers podcast to get the most up-to-date intel to win your matchup each week. Subscribe right now to the Fantasy Footballers podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also visit them on the web at thefantasyfootballers.com. Subscribe now and dominate your fantasy football league.
No mercy.
Heisman frontrunner Trevor Lawrence underwhelmed in his season debut last night versus Tech. Lawrence completed just 56% of his passes for 168 yards, 1 TD, 2 interceptions. The sophomore quarterback also rushed for a touchdown. Clemson did easily go on to win 52-14, but that was thanks in large part to their tailback. Shannon, how much do you think Trevor Lawrence damaged his Heisman hopes right out of the gate?
Skip, it hurt, but not as much as it would have if he did it like Tua did in the SEC championship game, which was right before the final votes were to come in. It's early, so he gets an opportunity. He gets Texas A&M, I think, next week, and then he gets Syracuse. It's the opener. How many people were actually watching this game?
I was.
Yeah, you of course you and I. Mm-hmm. And when you look at what he did once he came into the game, once he came in last year, and you look at the 2 playoff games, he was night and day. Wasn't even close to what we saw against Alabama. Wasn't even close to what we saw against Notre Dame. And Georgia Tech, we just thought, Skip, this was because normally the Heisman favorite, they normally start with an FCS opponent or a lesser tier Division I opponent, Skip.
Yep.
And they have huge numbers. Although Georgia Tech is in a Power 5 conference, nobody thinks Georgia Tech is a powerhouse when it comes to football.
No.
As a matter of fact, anything except academics. But for him to perform like that, Skip, that was a bad performance for him. But like I said, he stubbed his toe. He didn't break his foot. So, you know, you bandage it up a little bit and you get an opportunity to redeem yourself. But the first game, he has a game like this at the end of the season, it would have carried way, way more weight than what we saw happen last night.
So, weirdly enough, I know if you just glance at the stats, you wince, close one eye, but if you watched it, and I did, I was weirdly impressed by this kid because he did 2 or 3 things where I just said, whoa, this, you want to talk about special. You want to talk about the 2021 NFL draft. Some team's going to be very lucky to have the worst record and first pick, right?
Yeah.
Because even the first interception was the worst throw of the night, but Dabo said he got fooled. I don't know what he was seeing, but he just threw it right to the zone corner who was just squatting. He just throws it right to him. I don't know I don't know if the receiver went the wrong way. I don't know what happened. But could we see what happened after the corner caught the football and took off and looked like he was home free? Could we just see the end of this play? So he throws it right to him, and I think, oh, he's housed. Oh, look who got him. Look at that.
Yeah.
You don't think that corner's going to take some heat and film session that the quarterback just ran him down and knocked him out of bounds? Whew. Yeah. Was that not athletic? Whew.
And then they get a goal line stand, so they didn't lose any
They didn't lose anything. And Trevor Lawrence made a couple of runs where I just said, wow, the first run for the touchdown, it was only 6 yards. It felt longer than that, but it's a zone read play, keeper.
But Skip, the one that he's rolling to his left and he throws back across his body.
That was the last play of the first half. It was just pure desperation. It was a bad idea.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give him a little break. He was just trying to make a play. And then how about that rocket bomb that he threw to T. Higgins, who's really good. But, again, it's a little bit of a jump ball. But this is a big-time throw and obviously a big-time catch. You know, that's just NFL arm right there. That's just like, whoa.
There's nothing you can do about that.
Okay, nothing you can do. And they're going to do a lot of that.
Yeah.
And Georgia Tech was completely overmatched from the first snap to where it looked like men versus boys, you know, where you're just saying, what is going on here? Aren't they supposed to be in this? Aren't they supposed to be competitive?
Well, Skip, they had to get there late. They've been in study hall. They're going to be how to split an atom and, be doctors and, how to keep a building upright in a Category 5 hurricane or something of that nature.
Okay. So Trevor Lawrence's biggest problem to win the Heisman is in-house.
Yeah.
Because Travis Etienne, I mean, he is just dynamic, and he broke loose last night for touchdown runs of 90, 48, and 14, and he goes for 205 on only 12 carries. I think somebody else announced themselves as a Heisman candidate.
What people don't realize, he was ACC Offensive Player of the Year last year.
All right.
It was him.
Whew.
And, he had a monster day against the Tide.
He did.
Got overshadowed because Trevor Lawrence was so spectacular.
He was.
But I think, he have 18 touchdowns last year on the ground. Dude, he can play. Clemson, and that's the thing. You look at the weapons that they've had, Skip. They had DeAndre Hopkins. They had Sammy Watkins and C.J. Spiller. And,
just keep going.
Yeah, and the Williams kid.
Oh.
And you and did they win any championships with those guys?
Interesting. My biggest takeaway from last night was, I'm sorry, St. Nick. It's over.
It's over. There you go.
You know why?
There you go, Skip.
Because Clemson is the new Bama. They're the new powerhouse. They're the new invincible dynasty. They are loaded. Everywhere I looked, I saw somebody else. I said, wow, that guy, look at that guy.
I mean, we done got a couple of guys hurt because, St. Nick be thinking it's 1950 and he's still tackling and doing all that stuff and getting buckets of finalists hurt.
Yeah.
So, St. Nick, you need to cut that out. Now.
They have become a distant second program in college football.
But don't count him out, Skip. Don't count him out now. Don't count on St. Nick out.
I just counted him out.
Tua. Don't count on Tua out. He got another 40 touchdowns in that left arm.
You think so?
Yeah.
Does he have 20 interceptions in that left
No.
arm?
Less than 10.
Really?
Less than 10.
Okay. Boy, he was struggling at the end of the year.
Skip.
Huh?
We know what happened, okay? He was hurt. He gonna be hurt this year. No. Yeah, you know it was hurt. Miss Skip, you saw the man's knee and ankle. He had surgery.
Okay.
And we all do know where ATN is from, right?
We don't.
Jennings, Louisiana.
Oh, Jennings.
South
ATN.
Louisiana. Yes.
And Skip, who's the favorite to win the Heisman? Remember, we don't normally, when we get favorites, they don't normally win the Heisman. Baker Mayfield, because even when Jameis won the Heisman, he was the favorite. It was Mariota number 2. Derrick Henry was number 8. Skip, you know who was tied for second in the year Derrick Henry won? You never guess who was tied for second preseason. Your boy, Dak.
Oh.
Him and Leonard Fournette.
He had had a really big year before.
Zeke was the favorite.
Dak carried his team, little old Mississippi State, all the way to number 1 in the nation.
And he carried them down to Alabama, and what happened, Skip?
Well, it's called talent.
All I know is Johnny Manziel went to Tuscaloosa and beat the brakes off him.
Yeah.
I know Cam Newton went to Tuscaloosa and did what he did. That's all I'm saying. Now,
Cam was the first pick in the draft.
How many offensive players?
Dak Prescott was the 4th round pick.
How many offensive players from Cam team offense in the NFL?
We got to leave it here, guys. Great stuff. I know you could debate this all day. Clemson's next test comes against Texas A&M. Up next for us was Lonzo Ball throwing shade at LeBron and the Lakers. We'll discuss that one when Undisputed returns.
No mercy.
Lonzo Ball was traded from the Lakers to the Pelicans in July to get Anthony Davis to the Lakers, but LA is still on Lonzo's mind. Lonzo released his second mixtape and appeared to throw some shade at the Lakers. On a single, Lonzo says, quote, "You know I'm all about business. LA is going to regret their decision." After a little blowback, Lonzo tweeted, "I'm not dissing anybody. I loved my time in LA. I used my music as an outlet to express things that happened in my life." Shannon, what do you make of that?
Skip, of course, he's disappointed. Skip, he was drafted by his hometown team. The team that he rooted for as a kid drafted him with the number 2 overall pick. He knows what the Lakers represent. He knows the Laker lineage of the great player that's been there from Jerry West to Elgin Baylor to Wilt Chamberlain to Shaq and Kobe and Magic and Kareem. He knows that.
Yep.
He wanted to be a part of that. The Lakers said, "We're better off without you." This always going to sting, Skip. He's always going to bear this. A hometown story, this is supposed to be LeBron James from Akron getting drafted by Cleveland. LeBron left because he wanted to. They wasn't trading LeBron. They didn't say we can get better if we trade LeBron. Lakers said we can get better if we trade Lonzo Ball. Don't backtrack. Don't walk it back. Yeah, I dissed them because they traded me, and I'm going to make them regret that they did this. Yeah. Okay,
And I'm with you on this. And it hurts to admit this publicly because I still love Lonzo Ball, and you will come to love him as a Pelican. I loved it that he wrote those lines and he rapped those lines.
Yeah.
And then it just completely deflated me that he moonwalked all of it back. It's like, what? Oh, that's not a diss.
Right.
Yes, it's fine. It's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. Just own it. Just stand right with it. Stand right behind it and take it right on down to New Orleans and show us.
Yeah.
And take it back out on the Lakers. Make them pay. Because I still think he's capable of making them pay. And I still say that there are times I worry or at least wonder whether Lonzo is more of his mother's son than his father's son. Because I wish he had just a little bigger dose of LeVar in him. Because LeVar, I'm talking about some Compton in him, where you take nothing off nobody. And you take a shot and you own the shot. LeVar takes shots, he owns a shot.
Yeah.
And again, does he overlove his sons? You can certainly make a case. But Lonzo, to me, comes off too often as this privileged kid who's a little too spoiled. You know, he's just had too much too soon.
Well, Lonzo's a generation removed from Compton.
Yeah,
His
I'd
daddy
say
grew up in Compton.
that is correct.
Not Lonzo.
but I just wish he had a dose of it. It feels like the youngest son, and I don't know him, just deserve. Maybe he's got a dose of Compton in him, because you need a little backbone, man.
But Skip, when you look, people will understand that you're disappointed.
Yeah.
You from Chino Hills. You what? I don't know, maybe an hour away from the Staples Center.
Yeah.
That's your hometown team, the Lakers. Yeah. And point guard, Magic Johnson. That's what you're supposed to be. Everybody says you're going to be the next Magic. Magic said you're going to be the next Magic.
He did.
He's going to have a
Jerseys,
number. Hanging. You did, look, I'd have looked at Ice Cube differently if he'd have said no Vaseline, the diss track that he sent at NWA. Like, man, I ain't mean no diss. I was just,
God.
it's about rapping
I
about
would have been crushed.
Yeah, right.
I would have been out. I'm out.
About music
right.
and expressing myself where I am in my life right now.
Yeah.
No, I dissed them. And I mean every word I say. Yes, I dissed the Lakers.
Yeah.
Because I'm ticked off that they traded me because they think they can get better without me. Yes, I'm upset. Okay, and what? And I'm going to show you. I was right. They were wrong.
This could be the greatest thing that ever happened to Lonzo Ball.
And he might not even know it yet.
He got out from under his father's, just sort of dominating his life. Not that his father won't be at some of your games, but again, he doesn't live here. Lonzo doesn't live under that cloud that his father can create, a cloud of expectations. Right. And you get to start fresh with a great up-and-coming franchise and a great GM. You got it all. Right. And you get to team up with the perfect alley-oop partner, right?
Yep.
Zion.
Yep.
And they're made for each other. You got a sweet new start here, man.
And Skip, the expectations in New Orleans are different than the expectations in L.A. They're two different franchises. They're two different level of expectations. We make it to the playoffs. The Lakers don't play for playoffs. The Lakers play for championships. And once you start stacking championships, that's all you play for. The Pelicans, hopefully we can just get consistently and keep making the playoffs and build and go from there. We got great young players. We got Lonzo, and we got Zion, and we got some, you got Josh Hart, you got Brandon Ingram, we got some Holiday. So we got some pieces to build upon.
Real pieces.
But the Lakers ain't trying to build nothing. Lakers trying to win a championship.
That is true, and good luck with that.
Oh, it's done deal. Done deal.
No,
and then I'm going to write a diss track.
Really?
About everybody that dissed him. I've been keeping names of everybody that dissed LeBron.
Am I the number one name on that list?
I'm going to be in studio.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, reportedly.
Me and Weezy.
Reportedly, after Game 3, was it, in Dallas during the 2011 finals, LeBron made a list in his hotel room. I'm going to tell these people so. I'm going to tell these.
Yeah.
And I was told that I was number one on that list. But then Game 4 happened, and then Game 5 happened, and then Game 6 happened. That list, it got left in some hotel room in Dallas.
But is this track coming?
No, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. The tracks coming so far have just said, comeback season for the ages.
All right.
Okay, we'll see.
It's coming, Skip.
I think Alonzo's going to have a comeback season for the ages down in New Orleans.
I hope so.
I like the way you think. His song is called Last Days. It also mentions Alan Foster, that former manager who embezzled $1.5 million from him. So if it's not throwing shade, some interesting mentions there. All right, still to come this morning, would it be a good idea for the Nets to sign Carmelo? Kyrie and KD think so, but do Skip and Shannon think so?
Yep.
We'll find out up next.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day here on Undisputed. Carmelo Anthony just might not be done yet. Melo has yet to find an NBA team to sign with, and earlier this month, his request to join the USA basketball team for the World Cup was denied. However, according to reports, Kyrie Irving and KD are now both pushing the Nets to sign Carmelo. Shannon, good idea or bad idea for the Nets?
I think it'd be a good idea for the simple fact, looks like, I think most people don't believe KD will play this season. Wilson Chandler, another guy that just got popped for PED, is going to miss the first 25 games.
Yep.
So they probably could use some of Carmelo's scoring. But the thing is for them is to define Carmelo's role before he gets there. Let him know what they expect of him from an offensive standpoint. You can't come in thinking you're the Nuggets Carmelo or the Knicks Carmelo.
Yep.
You're at a different stage of your life now, and you need to fit a role. You're a role player. You're not the player. And notice I keep saying Carmelo. He's no longer Melo. He's Carmelo Anthony. That guy plays a role. Melo could dominate a game.
To me, this isn't a good fit. It's a great fit.
Right.
This was heaven sent. I was so happy for Carmelo when I read that both KD and Kyrie are supporting this.
Yes.
And KD's supporting it because he's not going to have to share the basketball with Carmelo, right?
This year.
Carmelo deserves this.
Yeah.
He didn't deserve to go out the way it looked like it was about to end, which
Yeah.
is nowhere. Do you realize in the last 3 seasons, 5 teams have had his rights?
Yeah.
This is like this. You can't end your career like that. You're better than this,
Yeah.
right?
You would think.
Yeah, you're in LeBron's draft. You're going into year 17, and it's just it was looking like a pathetic close where you get rejected by Team USA.
Right.
You know,
And that was Skip. When you look at Melo, LeBron is the anomaly. Kyle Korver is still playing, obviously, but the rest of the guys are gone. So it's LeBron, Kyle Korver, and Carmelo. And look, Kyle Korver has never been the caliber player these two guys were, but Joe Johnson is even getting a tryout. So you mean to tell me a guy that played in the Big Three?
Yeah.
So that might be the new platform, Skip. Guys go to the Big Three, get another opportunity to play. Carmelo Anthony can't play in the NBA. It's hard for me to believe that he can't play.
Well,
but they need to define his role, Skip.
right? But now you can have at least a little bigger last hurrah role than you would have usually because, again, where are they going with no KD next year?
Right.
They're going to win the championship?
No.
So you can at least, for marquee value, you can at least end near New York City.
Hold on, Skip. He didn't say he wanted to end after 17.
Well,
He might want to get 18, 19 in.
No, I think
Great
this would be
stuff,
it.
guys. The Nets GM and coach have both seen him work out.
No mercy.
Thank you for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Keep an eye out for the weekend edition of the podcast tomorrow morning, featuring this week's best segments. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.